All right. Hello, everyone. We're here for a very exciting match. We're here for the Crazyhouse World Championship final. This is Jasugi99 versus opperwezen. This is the result of a very robust tournament that has been going through the whole year. I just want to introduce some guests to the channel. We've got a very highly qualified commentary team here today. At the top of the screen on the right, you'll see Kleerkast. Kleerkast was one of our participants this year and also a Crazyhouse World Championship candidate in a prior year as well. At the bottom right, you'll have Mugwort. He's actually one of the candidates that played this year. So he'll have some great insight for us on current form of players. He's the one in the Bahamas at the moment. And of course, the legendary Grandmaster Yasser Seirawan just beneath me. So yeah, welcome everyone. And
thank you, Justin.
Yeah, games are about to start. So let's have a good Crazyhouse World Championship final.
And just to make sure that everybody's on the same page, this is the best of 60 games, Justin?
Yes, best of 60 games, and today we'll have 20 of them played. Very quickly, opperwezen's gone for a new line where we actually sacrificed the knight nearly by force on f6 by playing move to d6 and not d5.
Right.
Yasser, we were talking about this opening just the other day, but
we did. We were doing a test, and Neil is we were saying that that's a very valid system. But now I haven't played d6 and then d5. That was really new to me because that feels like it's losing a tempo. Will he be punished for it?
On the other hand, it does force white, as Justin was saying, to take on f6, and so you don't get these lines where white ends up playing f3 and after knight e4, which is quite disturbing.
So that's the latest Yasser. In fact, if you play 2d5, so likely these days at the top level is white going to decline that knight capture that the idea d6 has actually become something which inherently seems ridiculous, but black has actually scored quite well with it. So
it's shocking enough to chess players that don't play Crazyhouse just to sack the knight by itself, and then you play d6 and d5 in 2 moves.
Exactly. Now, okay, a piece and nothing major. This early case in the game. I mean, especially the double bishops on c1 and d2 don't make a great impression to my eyes. And if black just puts a pawn on g6, he's going to be so rock solid. It feels like it's worth the piece.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably, theoretically it should be better for white, but when it comes to practical chances, which is what today will be all about, it's all about what happens on game day. I'd say if you're opperwezen, this is the kind of position you can move around in and create opportunity with. So I think that's going to be critical, particularly for the first few matches of the final. Like, both players will just be settling in, despite all their experience and strength. It's still game day. There's nothing quite like it.
Exactly. Now to Kleerkast and Neil, tell me, what do you feel is it about opperwezen that's going to give him the advantage in the match, besides the fact that he's the reigning world champion?
He just shared with us on Discord that he did some preparation, so that's interesting for sure. So he looked at some openings that were played in the candidates and stuff like that. And we all know opperwezen in the Crazyhouse scene as a player who plays the unconventional move, and that's gonna be like Justin just said on the fact that it's game day. There's pressure, there's nerves, and then opperwezen hits you with a move you're shocked about, and that's gonna be a very nice advantage for him, I think.
How would
also Opper is extremely focused on a big match day. I think we were talking about this the other day as well, and he has this ability to pull out his best games in a big match. So don't. Although he would say Jasugi is the favorite to win. He was predicting 13-7 today. I wouldn't be surprised if Opper at least takes it to 10-all. I was predicting yesterday actually 11-9 just to be different in favor of Opper because everyone was going for Jasugi.
Now, how do you guys rank the two? Like, imagine that they're coming down to the last 10 seconds. Like, who has the bullet skills between these two?
Yeah, I think both of them, it'd be really hard to call because we know Jasugi from the Bughouse community, and in the last few seconds in Bughouse, everything's critical, but opperwezen, takes it to the likes of Ali Reza and Carlson in actually regular bullet chess as well. So he's very
it's
well
not
known.
uncommon for him to win or get second in title arenas.
Correct.
With bullet tempo, so he's very fast.
Yeah,
I would best answer that. I would best answer that. Sorry. I would best answer that with a joke and say the match took a minute to start because they were both looking for the berserk button. Which halves your time at the beginning. That explains how good they are at bullet and hyper bullets.
Right.
So let's
get to the position of the hand. Yeah, what's going on there? Knight G7.
White Knight's appeared on G7 3 times already, and usually a White Knight next to the king is a friend. So Jasugi is using an unconventional method of attack here. Basically, he's playing on the dark squares F6.
He wants to go something like a rook h8 and bishop g7 at some moment.
Yeah, that's
make the bishop g7 as a check. Yeah.
Ooh.
So Opper's looking for some counterattack here.
This is an Opper move. Pawn on e2 is totally out of the box.
But
this dangerous knight takes f6.
Knight takes f6.
Yeah. This is over.
Winning pawn at g7, and then you take the queen.
Pawn at g7 wins. Yeah. Yep. Over just like that. That e2 move was a surprise, but a bad surprise.
I think he was short on time, but he was looking good. I wasn't aligned with Jasugi's knight h5, knight takes g7. He got a lot more out of that than I thought he would. I'm just wondering if opperwezen could have focused a bit more on the king side with defense.
I think the original rook f8 was wrong when knight g7 first appeared. I was expecting something like knight f5 by black, so inviting to take the rook and the queen takes, but didn't happen. And then it suddenly was very convincing. I mean, you were talking when we were doing a test the other day, Justin, about finishing. These guys finish well, huh?
Correct. So, I mean, I think, this is a really double-edged game relative to chess. There's no draws in it. So, there are draws, but they're very rare. So, I think you really have to finish the games well when you're at this level, just because giving that opportunity to do something is the most dangerous thing. So let's see, the early piece sacrifice on e6. I've played this myself before against opperwezen. Yeah.
Very, eh?
I don't say
that tongue in cheek.
To hold the piece against Opper in this particular opening can lead you down some troublesome lines. So when I've played knight c5, I've lost many matches as black.
What about knight d4 here? Queen check. Okay, I was thinking knight d4 and any knight move I was going to go queen b5 check. He did it voluntarily, just sidestepping the discovery before it could even be made. Knight a3.
Okay.
What am I missing?
Yeah, it doesn't feel that dangerous for white to me after knight a3.
Whoa.
Bishop d3.
I guess he was worried about an eventual bishop takes a3 after the knight moves out of the way. I couldn't see it moving with tempo.
Right. Yeah, I could knight a3, knight a2 would have been rather humorous, but okay. Bishop d3.
I like bishop d3.
You do.
I think you've got to try to castle quickly as white here.
Okay, here's the problem I'm having though, Justin. h3 by black. Just
pawn at h3.
putting the question. Yeah, pawn h3. and just saying, okay, okay, he included the rook move. I'm not 100% sure I like that. But
well, I think that's to get the queen off c6 before you do something with the knight, so that there's no queen takes c6 check.
Yeah, maybe a bishop at b6 aimed at f2, or bishop at c5 could be in a move.
So something like knight d3, cd3, bishop to b6, and just hitting f2, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm having a hard time getting enthusiastic.
Maybe there's pawn at c2 and queen takes d3 as an idea after that.
Yeah, you want to drive the queen off b8 so the black queen's not tied to the rook.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Fair enough. c4. Justin, you have this great ability to use pawns, and he seems to be pawn on c4. That's not a great usage of the pawn in hand. So I'm still not feeling it for black. a3 here. a3 takes on e4, takes on b4.
Yeah, I think a3 is very sensible here. Because if you do anything else, then I think black's uses of the pawns on c4 and d5 was justified. So this way, at least, you're still solid. Pawn at c3.
Yeah.
Okay, now maybe is he gonna?
No.
Pawn at e2 b6 looks nice. Just to make a white not castle.
My feeling is these light squares look terminal for white. It's long-term weaknesses which are not going to go away.
Okay, so you're saying e2, pawn at e2, something like knight. No, pawn at e2, I have to probably play knight to d2.
And then knight maybe already bishop takes c3, pawn at b2, something like that.
No, pawn at e2 is played.
Well, here we go.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Jasugi loves this kind of position.
Ooh,
There's another upper move.
Upper move. So pawn at d7, you can't take with the queen because queen takes b8. Now,
so is he taking the bishop on
this is sensible. He just has to play defense here.
I kind of like this pawn on d7 because he sidestepped a bishop to b6, a bishop to c5. When Kleerkast was suggesting bishop b6, aiming at f2, I was getting worried there. But I think this was a really nice maneuver with this pawn to d7. It was a big surprise. Well done.
Opper's in comfort mode here, not just on the board, but also on the clock. You can see the difference, and time is really important. Queen takes b8 nearly works, but bishop takes d4. So Opper's seeing if he can mate here. I don't think he should go for it. I think he should just play bishop takes b6. It doesn't quite work. Queen takes b8, the idea is if queen takes b8, knight at h6 is a common mating theme. King h8, rook at g8, rook takes g8, knight takes f7.
He's got something like that in mind. He's going to play knight h6 check.
Correct. So if bishop takes queen, knight at h6, and then if takes knight at f6 would be mating.
This looks like
f6,
a gorgeous move.
I think it was necessary.
Yeah, knight h5 just felt so good, though, right? I mean, wow, you get to play a move like that. Nice.
Okay.
Very, very nice.
So
But now we've got to dodge bishop g4. Bishop g4 is the big threat for black. Bishop d7 to g4, sorry.
Yeah.
Next. Okay, sensibly development. When all else fails, right?
Yeah.
Bishop g4 anyway.
There was no other move other than bishop g4. Now here's where Jasugi is dangerous, where you think you're safe, home and hosed, and you are never safe against Jasugi99, basically. And Mugwort and Kleerkast can attest to that for me as well.
I've been there.
It's normally me that's got 4 seconds left though against Jasugi.
Yeah, something about knight h5 wasn't followed up correctly. When it was played, it was good. After f6, maybe something like h6. He's missed an opportunity here. This looks like white is the one suddenly in trouble now. Ooh, I'm not feeling this for white. I'm feeling like something could go really wrong. And here we go.
It's on the increment though. It's gonna be tough.
So there's a bishop takes h3, which could be nasty. He doesn't have to take.
Knight takes d8, not enough.
No,
Bishop covers f7.
King d2 is always available to run to.
Wow, what a game!
Okay, this is
Knight
where
b3
the
check.
bullet.
No?
Knight f3
Almost.
check. Knight f1 check. Ooh.
No, I think White's okay. White's very safe here. E2 is covered. So this is
hanging.
This is now clutch stuff.
Yeah, this is what I meant by the bullet.
Okay, queen takes d8 now, I think, or knight at e7. There's got to be a big, or pawn at f7.
Queen takes d8.
Pawn at f7.
Oh, he's taking too much time. Oh, here it goes.
He'll be all right.
Ooh.
Oh, he should have kept checks though, but he's got king c1, king b.
F3. Ooh, c3, nice move.
c3, nice move, keeps things alive.
Oh,
yeah.
Still scary.
Is it king a2? Oh.
Because the bishop comes back to guard b5 in some lines.
No,
why did he?
Wow. It's mates.
Oh, knight b5 mate on the spot.
No, Jasugi swindled him there. He had him.
Oh, big time. That was a big swindle. I think king a4 was winning for white at the end.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
I even thought instead of king b3, if he went king a2 first, and then you get black to play knight at c3 first. Then when you come king b3, there's no knight in hand. You can take c3, but
nice.
This
exactly.
You know, this is where the nerves will get tested for both players. So that was fantastic to see in the second game. But Opper needs a confidence boost here.
Right. Now I think last time they played something like bishop in hand to d2, and that was where I was suggesting just playing pawn in hand to g6, and just saying, okay, my king is like rock solid safe. You're not breaking through without making a lot of sacrifices.
Well, Yasser Jasugi's found an improvement. Bishop at e1.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, preventing pawn at b4, I guess.
Exactly. Nice. By keeping d4 protected.
And pawn at g6 preventing knight h5. So neither player likes the idea that their opponent put in front of them last game.
Yeah.
Well, a queen or a bishop on e1 is usually very good defending it together with f3.
Yeah,
I like this setup a lot for white. It's a bit slow, but defensive-wise. How do you break through?
Yeah.
Oh, bishop at e2 is on?
Yes.
I would have taken with the pawn.
Of a knight on c6 in such positions. Against that bishop to d3, I was thinking knight c6 to e7 to look to reroute it to knight f5. I'm also shocked, like you, Justin, that bishop e2 was allowed.
Look at those minor pieces. If he has time to put the minor pieces on.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, there, Neil. Yeah, there's a lot, all right. And I'm thinking it's time to cover up with bishop.
Bishop at e6. I'd play bishop. Yeah,
bishop to e6
or f8. But h5 very good too. That's very resourceful. That's basically saying I'm not going to be conned into using up all my pieces. I want to save them for an attack, and
True.
Play h5. That's what that move is about. It's sending a clear signal at the top level to say I'm not afraid of you.
Whoa, this is allowing a knight e2 check. Should knights get traded?
I wonder if he had knight at h6 and some bishop at c5 ideas.
Yeah, but thank you. I was on the same.
There weren't that much blockers in hand for black.
No, knight at h6, true. I think g takes h6, knight takes h6, allowing king g7. And then black's got to play defense and prove that the material is sufficient to win.
Yeah.
But I think h5 really is a championship kind of move. That's my observation. It might seem like one of the more subtle moves in the game, but I think that's where the games are won and lost.
This is certainly a no-fear final.
Yeah. Are you guys... I see a bishop on e5 like that, and I think rook takes e5. Just hack it off. The bishop on e5 scares me when it's hitting g7, and I'm thinking the exchange sacrifice isn't that meaningful.
Yeah, in a sense, I guess that knight on d3 is not yet dangerous, and you're actually helping to gain a tempo by allowing white to get the knight on e5, and then rook at h8, knight takes f7 becomes an idea.
He's doing it, yeah. I was about to say, I'd like it now, because knight at e2 comes next. Like,
thank you.
And then g3
just crashing through g3.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Opper's finding his groove.
But
it doesn't matter which way he takes. Oh, bishop f4.
Knight e2 check.
Ooh,
sorry.
Rook e2. Nice. Big
nice.
Knight h3. Knight h3 is the idea, I guess. Or
just
rook
well,
takes
it's a
g2.
good idea. Oh no, the d3 knight protects f2.
Yeah, it's not made yet, but then something like knight h3, rook takes g2.
Clear.
Materialistically, black is winning.
Go for everything. I will be the sacrifice.
Knight
is shocking. Rook
knight
d2.
h3.
Rook d2.
Knight h3 check and knight f4.
Yeah, good one, Yaz. That's the way to win it.
Yeah.
You win it by material. Don't try to kill the king. Just knight at h3, king h1, knight takes f4. I think he could have seen it.
By the way, with the exception of the... Ooh, what was...
Oh, maybe he's going queen at e2. Queen at e2 is very dangerous too.
Yeah.
But rook at... Yeah, he'll pick up d2.
I'm sure
when pick up the knight next, yeah.
Nice. Yes,
queen
indeed.
Takes d3.
Rook at e1, queen takes d3. Very nice.
Yep. I'm sure when he was playing knight h3 check, he was intending to go knight f4, but then he said, hey, wait a minute, I could play rook d2, and that's even better. Okay.
So rook at f2 well, you can still take d3 because
rook at g1
rook at g1 still works with mate. So Opper's like thinking which of the four pieces he should take.
Queen takes f2. Queen takes
f2 even stronger.
More simple.
Well, he thought he'd give the rook first, but he didn't have to.
Was
Queen
weird.
takes f2 order would be better, I think, because now rook at f1.
Yeah, now bishop e3 defends for a bit.
Yeah, queen takes f2 first.
Bishop at e3, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that...
this is where, I mean, like...
It was a...
That's the finish you've got to take. That's the finish you've got to take. That queen takes f2 right there. Now you've left the door open for Jasugi, and he can take this opportunity to...
I think this comes about because Opper is not as... he hasn't been playing so much recently, whereas Jasugi's played all these candidates matches, and Opper will get into the match, so it's even if he goes down 3 or 4, he will take his time to get into the match, but it's possibly just a bit of a lack of a current match play.
Knight takes g1 here, I think. Yeah. At least.
Just to get as much material as you can. Yeah.
I was nearly going with g takes h3 instead of knight at c1 by Jasugi.
Yes.
I feel Jasugi's now a lot better than he was, but this is open. This is open for Oppo now to attack, continue.
And that's a pawn coming to h2.
Can he put something on g1? Rook at g1?
Rook takes c1. He's got to play bishop takes e1 to defend g3. Still a live game here. But
it's amazing. He is alive.
If you count material...
Knight takes g1, though. Something's going to come to f1, and I think that should be game, right?
You think black should grind this because black's so safe back at home with all those pawns that it should go black's way, but this is Jasugi99 we're dealing with, so
the man of mystical powers.
That's a fair comment.
Game 2 was a perfect showcase of his ability to come back from the dead.
Now white doesn't... Let me get rid of these.
He needs another knight for rook at f1 to work.
Well, can't he just take on f2? How would you have recaptured that? Because there was a queen d1 sighting.
I'm quite satisfied with how Opper's doing here. I mean, if you reverse the game back to when h5 was played, black had hardly any material in hand to attack with, and you can see
look what he's got.
The difference here where
the queen.
Just what Neil said, he needs some time to take himself into the match, and he's taking all the time in this game.
Maybe one of those 60-move games.
It's like in tennis. Like let's just have like a 30 hit rally.
I think
so
instead of knight at e3, knight at h3 was already mating, but
yes,
if takes, you have rook at g2.
Yep.
Knight at h3 now.
Let's not lose on time here.
Very strong.
Yeah,
I was about to say. Just why isn't he infesting the first rank with lots of majors, heavies? Rook d1, rook c1, rook d1. He's running.
No, it's fine. G5 is fine. Queen is covering it. He's still not dead yet. So now.
Whoa! Bishop on
there's no bishop at h7. We can avoid
Some
it.
people would like to see
rook at d1, rook at c1.
Bishop takes f2 and draw, but it's not happening.
Here he comes.
I was expecting bishop to g3 a moment ago, but he's played it now. This looks really good.
Yeah, now
bishop takes h2. I thought h2.
Why did he take it on h2? What's he doing?
No, he'll get there.
No. A queen to e3? What's he doing?
A queen at e3, yeah.
Time.
Looks good.
Queen takes h3.
Doesn't work?
Yeah,
doesn't
but queen.
There's some nerves kicking
on?
in here.
Oh, that was a big surprise.
Oof.
Yeah,
okay,
both players.
This might be a draw. Might be a draw after all.
Might be a draw. No,
he goes for it.
Draw. Oh, geez. No, it's going to be a draw.
Well, rook he has to block. Don't take h7 because knight g5 is mating.
Yes, maybe some ideas of rook at g2
but
coming.
Does he have enough to mate on
Is
g2?
Is it mating? Is rook at g2 mating?
Really? I don't know. Is it? Well, he's going to find
out. See it?
No.
Now take the...
Oh my goodness. No, that's it.
Mate in one, yeah.
Whoa.
Oh!
73 moves.
Epic. What a joke.
Oh, that was a disaster. Ooh.
See, if you don't finish the match, that's what happens. Jasugi will get you in the long run. He had nothing. He had nothing on the king, and
when Oppa is really on fire, he is one of the best at finding mates in the game, along with Jasugi.
Yeah, agreed. In the end, that bishop takes h2, what he should have played instead of bishop takes f2.
It
was an easy mate, I feel.
Yep.
Don't panic yet, guys. We haven't seen the best of Oppa anywhere near the best of Oppa yet.
So it's gonna come.
I'm hitting the panic button.
And this is why
we're in for the long haul. 60 games.
This is why we have another 57 games. Sun, Wind, Ocean donated $5. Thank you so much. Yeah, you'll see at the bottom there's an old target there. 8 days to go. I have donated this year's prize fund $2,000, and there's an opportunity for viewers to contribute back to that if you so wish. So thank you for that donation. Much appreciated. All right, back to the action.
I wanted to get a quick shout out to the audience as well, to say thank you for joining and thank you for all your support. Help Justin there, save him from the prize fund by donating. Very, very much appreciated. So I just wanted to jump in with that comment as well. Now, queen to e5, that just looks wrong because of queen g5, by the way. I think that's a fabulous
fantastic move, queen to g5.
Thank you for the lost tempo.
I think what's great is we're seeing that there's already been a couple games where Oppa's probably taken the middle game, and Jasugi is clearly taking the clutch moments a little bit better at the moment. But I think that's where it's going to be a very exciting match, because the players' strengths are quite different in some respects, and that's where we're going to see not a symmetric battle. Like, it's not like both players do the same thing as white or anything like that. It's completely asymmetric. So okay, the queen's traded off.
The Scotch is reasonably rare in Crazyhouse. Some players pull it out occasionally, but you don't see it too often.
I think it's avoiding a lot of known theory these days, the Scotch.
I was looking at Jasugi's games beforehand a bit, and he had a match against Art of Deception in the candidates, where Art of Deception always also likes to play the Scotch.
It was the same opening 5 times. The same
yeah,
line.
so I can imagine Jasugi had a look at those games, so he knows a bit of the ideas. But here he's already 2 minutes down on the clock.
It's not just 2 minutes down for me, guys. This use of the pawns, the pawn on f6 especially, but also the pawn on e5. Like 2 pawns in a hand, are so useful. You get to go h3 and g2 and make the guy. And now they're wasted on f6 and e5.
As Katask would say, they're expensive pawns.
Yeah. But this is a catastrophe for black. Knight takes e7, it's game over. I mean, there's nothing to discuss. Ooh.
Kez donation of $20. Thank you. He says great commentary. We've got an amazing commentary team here today. So thankful everyone can join.
All due to you, Justin. I would never come unless you had said yes or come. Okay. I'm on my way. It's a world championship, Justin. Count on me.
Oh, it's fantastic to have you here. But Kleerkast and Mugwort, a 4-way. We've never had anything like this for even one match. So for a final, it's fantastic. So Jasugi really in the trenches here. The clock is looking very dire.
Knight
sacrificing the queen, but it's not that.
It's not much of a sacrifice.
Yeah, it's a trade.
Ooh,
he's going to need more than Houdini skills to get out of this one.
Wait a minute, but did he really need Queen E8?
I think this is a good idea. Yeah, I
do. You like it?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Okay.
Knight at C2 is nothing. King D2 and
pawn to C7 here. By the way, sorry guys.
To say a Rook D8 next or something.
Yes, precisely. That's exactly what I was thinking too, Claire. But is there?
I was looking at Bishop takes A7 because you want to hack into B6.
Wow.
Yeah, now you get Rook at C7 ideas, maybe.
I don't think he should sack. Maybe even just pawn at B6 is sensible.
Sacrificing could go wrong indeed.
In my experience against Jasugi, when you're up this much time and up this much on the position, you don't have to find mate. That's where it usually goes wrong. you just keep taking the material and keep your time advantage, and you just grind, and eventually, you win by having all the pieces. But you were never in danger of being in time trouble yourself.
He needed the move Knight B5. No, Knight B5 was wrong. Oh no!
So now Queen F2 is hanging at the end of this. So
these top matchups are so fascinating because I find that Justin does better against Jasugi than Oppa because exactly of the point he was just mentioning. He'll just go and take all the pieces and win slowly rather than trying to find brilliant mates.
Sometimes that shifting, right? That's so nice. Instead of going all in on the attack, just to recognize, hey, look, I've got this great material advantage. I don't have to go berserk.
But you see how Jasugi's turned this around,
Oh, big time. I think that's. Oh my gosh, Knight E4 was almost mate, wasn't it? He could have played Knight. Wow, I don't know. Pawn B2 and Knight E4.
I think he would have run to B3 then.
Pawn at D2 nearly looks mating here. Pawn at D2, King. What?
Yeah, I think he's figured out some mate.
He doesn't have much time though. He doesn't have much time. So I'd say even at the top level, for the viewers, probably the toughest decisions to make in Crazyhouse are deciding whether you can pull an all-in trigger or to go slow and take all the pieces gradually, because you can win or lose matches with the right or wrong decision either way. Sometimes you do need to be aggressive, and that's where it's really interesting here. It's quite unlike chess, where it's not as sharp as what it can be in this. Or bishop takes d5, queen b3.
Oh, queen,
very nice.
Queen b3 check.
Yeah, so king takes d5 was doomed to queen b3. I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. Now we've got a queen e6. No, sorry.
Yeah, queen at e6, and you can
take c6. I feel knight at b6.
Yes.
And then you can go.
I like it.
You can even take the bishop, maybe. If you don't
You're
find
talking
anything.
about pulling the trigger. I thought Jasugi could have done a lot more with his counter attack.
Correct. Yeah, I feel so too. I think.
Agreed.
I think there's some.
Agreed.
The time pressure is in his way as well.
Okay, still, I mean, the problem is knight d3 check and e2. E2.
Pawn at e2. So king c2 to avoid pawn at e2. Yasser.
Exactly.
In fact, yeah, this is the level of.
Knight takes c4 is automatic. Oh. 7 seconds. 7 seconds. Whoa.
How to
Just
crack
like
that?
in
Such a rough position.
Game number 3? Yeah, last game, where Jasugi was defending with all the minor pieces. That's happening again.
Somehow this bishop on g5 has been so defensively useful by protecting the d8 square. So there's no getting him from behind, as Larry Christensen would say.
I feel like we've been here for an hour. It's only game 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's long games. I mean, a lot of games only go 20 moves in Crazy House. These guys are going
feel the
50
tension
plus
here.
this game.
Yeah. I really like the bishop d6 move. It's a great example of what Justin just said about going for the defense or going for the attack. He just plays bishop d6, gets the rook maybe in the game for defensive purposes, and only then starts to attack again.
Rook f6. Boy, that's a mystery move. I mean, Nimzovich would be proud. How do you explain this one, guys? The mysterious rook move. Okay, it's time to... I thought he was going to play knight e4, actually, but okay, he was going to sacrifice the knight.
He's only got e6 protected 5 times.
Yeah.
It's true. Defend your king from attack.
If that king moves off, it's going to be hard to follow up with something on e6, that's for sure.
I think that this game is turned again. Oh my goodness. Okay, maybe the rook on a1 can be useful. Not anymore. Not after that knight e1 move. I don't know. Pawn to d2 looks grim.
This is very nice from Jasugi. He's just patiently waiting. That's pulling the trigger. Bishop at d1 is a trigger pull right there. That's
another beautiful
4-0.
I love that.
But Opper's probably won 3 of the middle games out of 4. And it's
his play has been good.
His play's been fine. He's not shaking. He's actually
a big
solid.
Time advantage too. He's 2 minutes up in some of these games.
Yeah,
it's just not.
And that's
finding the moves in the critical moments.
But it's also a strategic decision. If you're trying to find that knockout blow when it's not on, it can consume a lot of your time and.
Agreed.
Pawn at a3 here. Do we just pick up material?
I don't know. Do you like these knight d5 reactions, though, Justin? I don't know. It's certainly. I thought he was playing for it as well when he played pawn a3 originally.
I feel like he's just set himself up to say, "I'm going to put a rook on e8, a knight on e4, a knight on c6 every game," and so he didn't give pawn at a3.
That's my defense is black. Yeah, right. That's what I'm planning as black. Okay.
But at least then he's guaranteed a long game. Put the pawn on g6 and say, "Come and get me."
I like the pawn on g6. I think it's just what a fortress there. It's almost like eat your way through that, if you can.
And that should have worked 2 games ago. When he played that h5 move, he was like, I mean, I really respect the h5, and a few games ago, it's a subtle move, but that's really world class, I think. So it's just a shame he didn't put him away when everything was in his favor.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's not like I'm hating it, but I really don't like the move rook b8 at all in those positions. I really much prefer knight e7 and bring the knight to f5. I don't think the rook ever belongs on b8. Having said that, it's still a pretty crazy game, right? I mean, oh my.
Pawn at d3 here? What are we thinking?
Yeah.
I don't like moving the knight on c6. I just think bishop takes c4,
but where
pawn at
would
e6.
you move it?
Exactly. So that's why I think pawn at d3, just to say, well, you're not coming in on my light squares. I'll give you that piece.
Right.
But maybe there's something hanging on the end of that
Better?
with queen takes d8. No, we
Yeah.
should be able to take the rook on
F1 is
f1.
the check, yeah.
Okay, well, opperwezen,
Ooh.
in clear opperwezen style, pawn at c2. The move
Yeah,
no
he
one
wants
will
to go
Didn't see
knight
that
d4.
one.
D4
Yeah, knight
save
d4.
Tempe.
But, okay, queen c...
What?
Okay, your commentators, you know, are going to read
This is why we're
a
not
bedtime
there.
story. Yeah, like what? What was? Whoa! These
It's
guys
nice
don't
from
respect the
Jasugi.
material.
It's nice. Well, no, they're respecting
say
their
that?
king above all else. And apparently,
And I
Jasugi thought he
respect
didn't
that.
have enough around his king yet, so he gave up the queen. But I think it's very reasonable.
Wow.
He's looking for, knight at d5 and really attacking.
There, just because my queen is vulnerable on the e7 square, I would probably recaptured with the queen to sidestep these knight d5, which I think is a fabulously powerful move, this knight d5 move.
Pawn at d7 looks very convincing here.
Compelling, yeah.
Yeah, but even if the queen is on d7, it's still vulnerable to knight at d5 because there are knight that takes f6 tricks then after you take on e4.
Right.
So it's
And
it's just very bad for I feel.
Yeah, and I think that this is now game over almost after bishop e2. You're too slow, and you're trying to defend against pawn to e7 and rook to c8. I think pawn to e7 does it. What about you guys?
Yeah,
Just go slowly. Put the bishop on.
I think Jasugi is doing exactly what we explained when he's got an edge. He's actually just strategically saying, "I'm just gonna keep the king safe and grind a small advantage." He's the one that's most capable of a knockout blow out of nowhere. But he's added a dimension to his game where I feel that he's probably a lot stronger at chess this year than he's ever been. And
Knight c7 here, pawn to e7.
Yeah. Knight takes c7. Knight takes c7 looks very convincing here.
Definitely. I'm also a very big fan of pawn to e7 with the idea bishop takes e7, rook to c8. But I think that he's
stacking on the back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And rook to b8 now is the best move. He's found it. Yeah.
I think we also get a feeling that if Jasugi gets an edge, it seems so much harder for Oppa to come back. Whereas when Oppa's got an edge, you're just waiting for when Jasugi could snatch it from him.
Exactly.
And I think that's just so impressive that
you're not being unfair at all in that. Yeah. Queen to e7 looks very compelling. Yeah. Drop it in. Wow. Wow.
5-0. Jasugi is running away with it.
Yeah, just to the audience, we were doing a test, and I was asking Justin, sorry to say, I've been kind of out of it as far as the Zero House, and he was saying that Jasugi has just been so impressive as march through the candidates. Justin was inspiring, huh?
That's amazing. I would say Mari has donated $15. Thank you for your commentary and organisation of CWC. It is a pleasure to watch. Thank you for joining us today. We're very happy that you're here.
Absolutely.
We've seen an A6. We haven't seen Jasugi play A6 in like a year, it feels like. Or probably not that long. He used to play it all the time, and then Katask kind of bashed it out of him.
I think correctly, he was really not happy with his 2 openings with the Scotch when he's got the black pieces. So try something different, you may as well.
But A6, help me out here, guys, because I'm drawing a complete blank. I just don't even see
when White A6 takes on D5, you often want to avoid the bishop B5 check.
Okay.
So it's a pawn gambit where you often play E6 with black, but A6 is quite useful to avoid bishop B5 check.
So a bit of history, yes. So as a Bughouse player, D5, E4, D5 would have been quite a popular choice in the past, and I think that used to be one of Jasugi's options, and then, like Neil said, bishop B5 kind of got in the way a lot, so then he started playing A6 to prepare D5 on move 2. and was very successful with that for quite a while.
So just for the audience, so if a guy in Bughouse is playing the Scandinavian, e4, d5, ed5, queen d5, knight c3, queen a5, it's this move bishop b5 check that is throwing black into spasms.
Well, no, actually, it's quite often like ed and queen takes d5 is not played. It could be like a knight f6 or an e6, where then bishop b5 check means you have to play c6, and that pawn vacates d5, white's the pawn up, and then black's got a bad pawn structure plus is down a pawn for the rest of the game, so he's safe.
And you get the pawn drops on b7, as Yasser may recall.
Oh yeah,
and you lose the rook. You must have fallen for that trap as well sometime.
Sometimes. What are you kidding? I did it 4 times just to be sure. It was a mistake the first time. It was terrible. Hey, by the way, I like this move, bishop d2. It sets up bishop e6.
I like Opper's position here. I like Opper's position.
I do too.
But also for him, I think he'll be very happy and comfortable in this opening. We need to see him get a win, because it will shift. I mean, Mugwort is right. We haven't seen the best of Opper yet.
In these kinds of positions, is queen h5 check a threat? Well, I was about to say it might have been, but not after knight to f4 stopped it. Whoa. Takes. Okay.
Just wants to trade and pull the knight backward, so it's not attacking on g2, I guess.
Yeah, and he wants to pull the king to f8 in some variation, so he can take on b4.
Take on b4 with check. Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha. All right. Well, now's the time to take on b4, right? So then you can maybe put a bishop on, I don't know, b3 and pawns to f5.
Yeah, you've got to decide if you're helping black by getting his knight closer to c2 or not. The pawn at f5 is also very playable here.
Well, you talked about getting the knight closer to c2, Justin. I mean, you must take on d4 now, right? I will force you to get your knight closer to my king. Oh,
you took. I didn't expect that.
Me either.
Okay, so Jasugi's saying, I'm taking all the material here. Show me what you got.
And he's saying
bishop at c5 looks.
Bishop at c5 looks strong.
So it's
but now you've occupied e6, so why not bishop to e7 now? Oh, there's a
but take and knight at d7
on f7.
Exactly.
Yeah, or d7. You're right. Nice. I like it. I like it for white.
I think Jasugi doesn't like knight at d7. He's chosen a.
This is a good tricky move.
Yeah.
This is just a genuinely good move.
That's another world-class move right there.
Exactly.
Because queen e2, then knight takes d4 is a significant improvement.
Oh, big time, yeah.
And now pawn f2 comes.
Yeah, pawn at d2,
if you
king f1.
Oh, queen takes d4 is a totally different story.
It's a world-class move. Bishop at g5.
Yeah, bishop at g5.
Yeah.
It's a game changer.
I thought queen takes, so that knight at d7.
And then queen takes f2, mate.
Exactly. Queen takes f2
and something like that.
Well, not just that, like queen takes d4 removes your knight at d7 problem, because king can just run e8 and d8.
As well, yeah.
So how can he play a genius move like bishop g5 one moment and follow it up with like knight d4 the next? Oh.
So I guess here you can't play knight at f7 because the bishop at b5 check. That's the thing.
Yeah, knight at d7 second.
That's the idea. Even though he wins the queen.
And there's no blocker in hand.
And
that was a nice
f7 is safe.
He's worked it all out.
Yeah.
He's worked it out.
Oh, fantastic. Oh.
Wow.
My goodness, what a demonstration. What a demolition, guys.
So a bit of background. In the candidates round robin that led up to this, Jasugi actually defeated 3 players 10-0. And we've never seen anything like that before. Like these guys are very strong.
Right?
Adoption, yeah. So he's fathered 3 children. In the candidates.
Right. But that is remarkable, right? I mean, 10-0 against the best players in the world.
Yeah.
Crazyhouse. Wow. Just remarkable.
That what, probably 8.5 out of 10 on average across 11 players of that caliber. So leading into this, we knew Opper had his work cut out for him, but 6-0 is a surprising scoreline.
By the way, now knight e4 before white's castle, there's no bishop e1. Improvement. Theoretical improvement.
Yeah, I like this suggestion by Kadask as well. He wants pawn at h3 a couple of moves earlier. And then you take the knight on c3 after, if he takes on h3 with the pawn, and you have some knight at f3 ideas. But he does it now as well, so the king can't really castle now. I like that.
Okay. And
it's gonna cost some material.
But
now with pawn at g2, he's gonna sack on h3 again.
Gotcha.
Pawn at f3.
Pawn at f3. Yeah, something like that is then coming.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand. So if in this position we go pawn to g2 for white, then we're expecting bishop takes h3, and then there will be a pawn coming back to f3, and that's how he justifies himself. Yeah, nice. However, this is the right way of treating this type of an attack, by putting the knight on f4.
Try to force bishop takes f1.
Very
because
instructional.
The rook isn't useful here just yet for black, and the bishop will be for white.
Exactly. Now that was an interesting decision to put a bishop on g2. I think for myself, I tend to favor pawn to g2 in such a situation. Bishop g2 hits d5. So is, in your views, do you think it's a big difference, or?
Yeah, as a principle,
well, I'm biased here. I'll always put the bishop on g2.
You'll put the bishop on g2. Okay,
as early as move 4.
Yeah, exactly.
As early as move 2, probably. But no, I think a principle is also the bishop is one of the best defenders in the game, because it defends a square it just came from. So while it doesn't seem apparent here yet, this is actually quite a respectful move from Jasugi to say, well, I'm just propping up my defense because one day pawn at h3 might happen, and I need that bishop to defend g2 when it leaves a square. That's the difference between the bishop and the pawn.
Okay. You said that it's not obvious, but the bishop defends the square it leaves, Justin?
Not just that. I mean, most other pieces do that too, but a knight changes its color that it defends, and so that's why sometimes gaps appear when a knight captures something, and that's not such a good defender around your king. Whereas
but in this case, we're particularly comparing the bishop to a pawn, right? Because the original question was the pawn.
We're comparing bishop to a pawn. We are.
Right.
So that's where sometimes you put a pawn on g2, you think, well, that looks like a normal 3 pawns in front of the king, but then in some circumstances, pawn at h3 comes as g takes h3, and there isn't a queen on f1, and g2 becomes weak.
Bad things happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's also attack-wise, the pawn is more dangerous now on h6 and g7 later on. So maybe he was already thinking about that.
Sometimes the pawn is better than the bishop.
You'd rather have the pawn as an attacking unit than the bishop. Okay, by the way,
h5's a beauty.
Knight h5. What a move! Unveiling bishop takes g5.
Can we get away with pawn d2 or rook at e1?
Pawn at e2, knight at h6, right?
Knight at h6,
pawn at e7.
King f8.
Pawn at e7, forcing knight takes e7.
Yeah, forcing knight takes.
I don't like it. But also, because of pawn on e2, if he takes the queen, black doesn't have a knight in his hand, so you can't disturb the king. right? E2, bishop d8, take on f1, bishop takes f1. No knight f3 checks.
Yeah,
And
you're
then
right.
you got to face the music on the other side. But oh, what a move! Knight h5. Oof, nicely done by.
He's playing very well,
Jasugi.
Jasugi. He's
At key moments, though.
yeah.
Not throughout, but just when it really, really, really matters, he finds the right response. Now here I almost feel like F. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's got
delayed pawn at
too
E2.
many minors.
So maybe it works here. The bishop takes.
So knight takes.
And he wants king h7, I think, but that fails. To queen takes knight at g6
no,
first.
G6 and queen takes e8.
Yeah, that's
knight at g6 first. Move order.
Yeah. Knight g6.
Knight at g6.
Yeah, make the h pawn take.
Where are my gold coins? Knight to g6.
What? That's Jasugi never misses those.
Beauty. A knight to g6. He had two knights in his hand.
So knight at g6 for the audience, and it was h takes g6, then queen takes e8 takes, rook takes h7, rook at h7 mate. But if f takes g6, he was knight at f7.
The position is so good that it doesn't matter again, like all the other games.
Well, queen takes f6.
Queen takes f6. Yeah.
Ooh,
queen takes f6 was good for black.
Queen takes f6 would have turned the tables completely.
What's going on?
Knight e2, queen g1.
It's again, probably still good next move.
Is Jasugi entering that zone where you go like, I can't believe I'm up 6-0. I have to lose a game somewhere.
Exactly.
But queen takes f6 and black was definitely fighting. I mean, from coming down to being mated by force.
Exactly. That was my feeling too. Knight f4. What?
I was expecting knight at g3.
Queen takes g5. Oh, he's blundered it. That's just terrible move.
I think he felt like he needed to defend.
e2. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! What is happening here?
Another table turner, guys.
But not from where we thought it would come from.
True.
I mean, you're not out of the woods yet if you're opperwezen here.
No, pawn to h5 by white there was really dangerous. What? Rook takes. Okay, it looks like a desperate time for black.
Yeah, Opper is dead.
He's still
resigned. Should have tried some queen sacrifice, not go back with the queen.
Needed queen takes f6.
Queen g6. Yeah, queen g6 was just bad. Ooh.
But he was in time trouble as well. That was another difference.
Guys, I mean, nobody saw. Well, I mean, I certainly did not anticipate a 7-0 blistering start. I mean, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Opper is being flailed here.
Me speaking from experience too. In 2018, I was in defending champion position, and you nearly felt a little bit on the back foot in the first set of matches because you've not played the format, whereas your opponent's already gone through the whole double elimination, knockout, plus all the candidates. So you're not match fit,
gamut, yeah.
And I've been playing opperwezen quite a bit in the last few months, but it's a different pressure. I mean, we're all here for some fun, but it is very different. This is good. This is good for white. This is...
Yeah, I was about to say, sorry to disturb you there, Justin, because you reminded me very much of a Botvinnik quote where he was playing against Smyslov, and Botvinnik complained that his opponent, Smyslov, had just basically beaten the entire elite of the world, while Botvinnik, did nothing but watch. But there was knight f6 check there instead of knight f3. Do you guys like knight f3 and not knight f6 check?
No, not yet, because bishop at h4 is on, and so knight f3...
the pawn on f6 in the end.
Yeah, so knight at f6 takes, knight takes f6, queen takes, e takes f6, bishop at h4, and you want to keep that pawn on f6. So you're a pawn up as white. You don't have to go into that. Knight f3 is improving, it's developing. Yeah, so we don't have to go all in with knight at f6 just yet.
The thing is, with playing Jasugi, you get so depressed looking at the scoreline, but it's not like Opper is playing badly at all.
No, he's not. He's not.
By the way, at this very moment, it looks terrible for Black. I mean, like I just don't even see what Black is supposed to do. White's got domination, bishop d3 castles, if nothing else, but we're looking at that f6 square, and either we're going to toss a pawn on h6 to really soften up f6, or we're just going to say, let's do it and go knight f6. How does Black stay in the game, guys?
I think you have to play bishop g6 or h5, maybe. Something like that.
Okay.
Let's just say
challenge the knight on e4.
Yeah, bishop g6 maybe.
Let's just say when Jasugi plays 1a6, he is not trying to aim for this kind of position. It's usually a pawn sack that leads to an open position, not a pawn sack that leads to a closed position.
And this looks just deathly. But okay, so you reckon bishop g6, and if I drop a knight on f6, are you sacrificing your queen at the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go knight at e4, or just pawn at f2 first.
I just play bishop d3 without thinking here. I just say, yep, that's just. I'm keeping my time advantage. I'm keeping my material advantage. I'm just going to grind my opponent because trades his opportunity.
Do you think Opper is aware of the changes that's required in his game at the moment, at the present match situation?
Very hard to say. It's hard to have that presence of mind when you're down 7-0.
That's why it's interesting that there's 3 parts to this final, so the players can go back and think about what they did wrong from a match strategy perspective.
Absolutely. I think that's a great part of it too. It's a long series for one day, but then you get two chances to, sleep on it and think. This is beautiful for White.
Knight g5 is just a kind of a crunchy move.
Ooh, knight c5 is crunchy too.
Yeah,
e6.
There's a lot of snap, crackle, and pops going on in this exact moment. Well, again and again, you need to find an absolute haymaker. Is pawn in hand to h5 something you guys would like, or do you want something even more snappier? Well, I like found it.
Yeah, I like that as well. Pawn at f6, but you have to be on the lookout for the bishop on c6. Yeah. There could be some chances.
I think he's well within his rights here. Pawn at f6 is very strong. Bishop at e5 will follow.
Don't give away a rook, and you should be fine.
No rook, it mates me. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, knight h3 check and rook f1 kind of deals. Gotcha. So don't give away.
Bring a queen at h5. Yeah, I was going to say, and I expected Oppo to play queen h5. You just block out knight at h3 ideas.
I love that.
Continue.
This is going to be his first win. This is going to be the first win. We should mark it. Have a little faith.
Well, don't count the chickens yet.
If you know Jasugi's style and his. How often he comes away from positions like this?
He won on time.
You can understand why people start seeing ghosts when they're trying to attack against Jasugi.
Yeah.
So
we were talking about the French, Neil.
The French is here. No, Oppa's played the French against me quite a bit the last few months. So
this is one of the main positions.
Yeah.
You often see an early bishop g5, which we're not going to see here.
Not after bishop g4 anymore. No, that's true.
No, Jasugi's just going for the safe.
I like the bishop on g4 when my opponent has a knight in hand, because it just feels like I'm defending against knight h5 to begin with, and I'm doing something useful with my bishop.
Yeah.
There's also a threat on d4 that White has to cover.
Yep.
Right.
Black can sometimes play for h5, h4 here.
Yeah,
well, don't give the audience all my ideas, Justin. Come on. We got to keep something for ourselves,
Black is doing quite okay.
Yep, Black's got out of the opening just fine. I guess, yes, I mean, I've mentioned this to you before, that when I play against you, I feel I have to make the position un-chess-like. If it's balanced and, some way with some resemblance to a chess position, I think I'm going to lose. And I suppose Jasugi can take that same approach to opperwezen. If opperwezen gets in a chess-like position, he's very comfortable. And whereas Jasugi will be thriving where it's more like bug house, and there's two minor pieces for a queen traded somewhere, and it's very asymmetric. So at the moment, this favors opperwezen because this is very balanced. There's a familiar pawn structure you could see in a chess match. So even though it's completely balanced here, stylistically, I think this is very much in Opper's favor already, this game.
And I wonder, out of the 8 games, how many that Jasugi has sacked his queen, and we've got 2 minors versus a queen, because that has happened quite a number of times already.
He's taken a leaf out of my book, guys. That's what he's done.
Yeah. Here, I like the move bishop h6 with the idea of just, again, defensive, offensive control. And if white puts a bishop on e3, then I get to go f5, f4. Knight g5.
He's gone straight for f3.
He might want to combine it with bishop h6 and then knight
f4. Just f4. Just use your resource.
Bishop h1 looks terrible. That's a disgusting move.
Here he comes.
Knight takes h3. Is that the idea?
Yeah, here he comes.
And then knight f4. Knight f4 back.
Yeah, this bishop on h1 feels miserable.
Getting that first win on the board will give him some confidence. I can also speak from experience, being down a long way against Jasugi in
2017.
I think it was leg 2, the second, from memory. I think the second of the 3 matches. I can't remember how far I was down, something like 9-3 or 8-2, and just one win means so much for your confidence when you're down. So is knight f3 good enough to win? Not quite.
Sorry to interrupt you there, but I'm not sure I'd like taking on e2. I think he could have taken on g2 and then put the pawn back on f3, right? Just a moment ago, because there was a knight h3 sighting too that looked really good for black. Okay, but taking a queen, it's a girl.
This is but it's so comfortable for Opper here.
I feel like we've been here before, though. Deja vu.
We have.
Yeah, and you want to make sure you finish this time. That looks really good, though, because king takes bishop e4 check is like an instant.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going wrong on the position first. It's Opper's actually getting low on time first, and then it's in the time trouble that things go wrong, and that's a strategic thing to stay up on the clock.
By the way, what is f3? I mean, he can move his king, whereas bishop e4 check compelled something bad to happen, didn't it?
Possibly. I don't mind pawn at f3 either.
Okay.
I feel that knight on f4, even if he played king h2, that knight on f4 couldn't stay there forever somehow.
Okay. This, on the other hand, if it did force rook f3, then f3 is absolutely wonderful.
Bishop at e4, surely.
Yeah, I have no harm bringing your
bishop
queen
at e4.
Or even knight e1 ideas.
Ooh, but
Opper knight
goes,
e1.
That's confidence.
Knight e1 and bishop f3 was made, but this is also working, I guess.
Knight takes f4 is forced, but...
Yeah, but then knight at e1 still.
Bishop at h1 also.
Yeah, bishop at h1 is the clean.
Oh, he's somehow trying to defend.
Too many mates here, he must find.
I was meaning for black, but okay.
So rook at g1, knight takes g1. Style.
Ooh,
knight at h4.
Style points. Style points.
Opper's in. He's in.
The g1.
2 wins.
It's only 1 point.
Is he back? It's 7-2. My gosh, talk about momentum. Talk about that for a little bit, Justin, for us. I mean, you get the big momentum going, and you feel it, right? Like, now you're ready to play.
Yeah, but I nearly feel like Jasugi did slip into that this is too good to be true kind of feeling, and it's weird. You think, why not just keep steamrolling?
The guy, right?
And that seventh game, which he still won, but I would expect Jasugi to find that knight at g6 move. So it's interesting here. You need to win 2 games to start a streak. So it's a lot. It changes a lot to be able to shift a little bit.
Now,
so we're back to the Scotch now. Knight at d4. I liked it before.
Right. And we saw kind of a queen b5 check when there was a queen on d8. This game, they've traded queens. Looks really good for white, first blush. I mean,
this went well for white. It was that knight at h5, f6, where black got bishop g4 in. That's what happened, and then black got some momentum. But white got a very good game out of this one. I think Jasugi's just remembered. He's like, oh, that's right.
Wait a minute.
That's why I started playing a6 on move 1.
No. Oh, this looks really gross because good move. He was facing bishop b5 as well as queen a8. So he's ready to castle and just say, okay, this is all part of the grand scheme of gambit play, but it's giving a lot of material.
Right, so we got a donation from Rookboy, $3. It's just awesome commentary. We love ZH tactics and instinct rule. Let's go Opper. He says, Kleerkast, tell him it's okay to take off his blindfold now. So I think that's a joke that Opper's probably playing with some weird piece set or his white pieces are black.
Piece or like that.
We're having a joke about using Christmas pieces the other day.
Right. So to fill everybody in, we did this test. And Neil and Justin were explaining that Opper sometimes uses multicolored sets that seem designed to handicap his ability to see the position. It's like, damn, how does he do it?
And then he's like, I only got 200 points versus Grandmasters
in a hyper bullet 30 second.
Yeah.
When he's berserking most of the games.
Yeah, I'll try to do better tomorrow. Sorry, guys. That's kind of the comment.
Yeah, right. Now, okay, unfortunately, it's all very, very fanciful by black, but after knight a3, I mean, suddenly there's music on the king side. f6, h6 will win automatically, and white is going to play d3, pawn in hand on pawn to e3 when he has to. But after knight a3, I don't think black's anywhere close to fair compensation.
Can I share a personal observation here?
Please.
Against rook b8, I would actually consider queen takes d5, not just because I like sacking my queen on its own, but after queen takes d5, knight c3, I just feel like black has a really hard time getting any counterplay, and f6, and I mean, you can't even take with the queen. I've got knight at e7, so you take with the bishop. But f6 and h6.
What about something
weak,
like knight a3, pawn at c3?
Knight a3.
Trying to get into the dark squares.
Or maybe queen c5 avoids that.
With the pawn at b2 idea next.
I see. Yes.
I don't know whether Kleerkast, do you remember my match against Art of Deception with the similar themes?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So I think it's, Neil, now that you mention it, it's because of what you've suggested that I think precipitated queen c5. And so that there wasn't a pawn to c3. What you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So there's queen c3 here to defend c2. I guess,
but
yeah,
then
my point.
d4. But then d4, then I'm not allowing you
queen d4 even. Or maybe not queen d4.
No, you want the queen to cover e7 possibly still. But but here's where I thought if you took that knight while it was still on d5, you would never have this penetration problem on c2. I just need to acknowledge Jacques, a donation of $10. Again, says great commentary team. Couldn't agree more. I'm so happy to be in the company I am with today.
I know. I feel like I got a front row seat to some of the best Z-House commentators the world has ever seen. I mean, this is great.
There was a really nice move, by the way, in the knight at e7 and then pawn at h6. You can sack the queen because you have pawn takes g7.
Yes.
And bishop
knight at h5. Is it?
Not knight at h5
like
because the queen covers, but bishop at h6 and bishop g5.
Yeah,
Bishop
knight at
g5
e7.
is made.
Yeah.
Knight e7. Check that out, everybody.
King not running away to e5?
But if you put the knight on e7 a moment ago instead of queen c3, followed by a pawn to h7, white would have seized the initiative.
Took
and with all the material is in hand, it would have been game over. He took it. Can he get a... time has become a factor suddenly.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
No, knight at f6.
He's blundered it again. He's blundered it again. Pawn to e3. What?
Yeah, pawn at e3 is very strong. So here you're deciding knight at e4. Yeah.
It's just a poke a hole on f2.
Oh, man. He's blundered again as Opper.
You would take queen takes d5 over what happened
Queen takes and knight takes e2 is made in a couple of moves.
I would have played knight e7 and pawn to h6.
I think pawn at f2 or knight takes c2, either of these.
Very strong, Yasser.
Thank you.
Where did that idea come from?
Hey, I steal from the best. And pawn to f2 mate.
No, he just ran short on time.
Oh.
8-2.
Oh. Opper, that is like maybe the third enormous reversal that we've seen, guys.
He was just up two pieces cold in the opening.
Exactly. Nothing to do. Nothing to say. That was a brutal turnaround. Whoa, f6.
So
Holy smokes.
Smash has asked a question. It says, at JannLee Crazyhouse, if you're Opper's coach and you call a timeout, what do you tell him at this point? I think it's actually about confidence right now. It's not actually to change technically what he's doing. It's actually if you've got clear decisions, take them. Don't burn the clock. And easier said than done. I'm very guilty of burning the clock in the middle game when I shouldn't myself. But that'd be my advice.
Well, I'm with you 100%. I just it's not bad play. It's bad results. Opper has played some really great games. He just failed to, bring home the point at that moment when we said, he's winning. It's like he just he wobbles at the very end. Okay, guys, he just played the move pawn to f6 because he was afraid of bishop c6 and a knight to e5. Isn't it coming anyway? Yes, it is.
But
that's an answer.
It'll cost White a few minor pieces, and I think White's basically saying retreating the bishop is worse than pursuing the attack. So that's the decision being made.
This feels like a great attack for White. What's wrong with this, Justin? I mean,
I don't think much is wrong with it, but
at my age, don't do that. What's going on? What?
He wants queen h5 check.
Oh, pawn at b7 just wins on the spot.
Bishop b4.
Bishop b4. Yes. Critical move.
Oh, does it?
And that doesn't win on the spot. I think Jasugi's missed bishop b4.
I missed bishop b4.
He's whispered oops in the chat.
He's whispered oops, yes. But still, c3.
c3, take on b7, take on b4. And isn't White still threatening?
So that's another world-class move, guys. Bishop b4 check to spot that. So the idea is bishop takes b7 was going to be mated by pawn at d7, but this just gives you king that escape square on f8.
Right. Vacating with tempo, yeah.
And bishop d2 doesn't help because bishop takes b7 and then pawn at d7, d8's no longer protected. You can shift across to d8. So you lose the bishop on b4, but you won't be mated.
Right.
So bishop d2 is
Whoa.
played. It can be taken
C2?
and take b7. And if you lose
you
the
want
queen,
pawn at f7.
Yeah, go for the material.
but yeah, I mean, black's happy. Black's got plenty of minors.
This is JannLee position for black, I guess.
It is a JannLee position for black. I'll take black any day. On.
But you have to watch out for queen f3, queen takes f5, or queen h5.
No. Queen h5. That was my point. Yeah.
But bishop at g6. But bishop at g6 covers f7. It's
yes.
Okay, but you still got knight e5, don't you?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I'm like, as black here, I'm like, if you don't mate me, I'm going to win. Because the material advantage is so significant.
Well,
but Opper knows this as well.
Turning in black's favor.
And now you do what Jasugi did. There's no blockers, right? So you
there's
do a long distance bishop a6 coming.
Yeah, exactly. Or bishop h6 if he goes to d2.
Yeah, I love bishop h6. I love those defensive and offensively prime moves. King d2, bishop h6 is a killer.
Well, you know bishop b4 check was missed by white when the player himself whispers in the chat, which you can't do in a classical World Championship. You can't just
like going into the confession booth.
Yeah, it's like...
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's like...
Well, okay, now we've got a mate with bishop h6 and knight e2. Ooh,
bishop a6 is like super... what's the word for it? Resourcefulness. Make sure you use that bishop on b7, even though you had one in hand.
Right.
You need the next one for b5.
Yeah. When you say when the player whispers, Justin, it's like in a classical game. You forcibly reminded me of the time when I was playing with Gary, and Gary just I played the opening like an idiot. And he made a move, and he twisted it into the board, and he rocked the board like he was throttling me or something. And it was the worst blunder ever. It's like he's twisting it into the board, and it's a terrible move. And suddenly I realized I was winning, so I wanted to get up from the board, tiptoe around the board and give him a kiss on the cheek. Come back. But we were playing in Sweden, and they had these big ass cameras, these huge, 500 kilo cameras, and it was being broadcast live on Swedish TV. And I don't know if that was like in the rule book, do not kiss your opponent during play. but that was kind of like the whisper you were mentioning.
Yeah.
You feel good about it.
It's so nice to have your stories. It's so nice to have your stories of these, amazing encounters. So thanks for sharing. Them.
Yeah. Pawn to e2. Hold on, queen to e2 resigns. What? I mean.
Well, that's...
What?
Two queens in hand.
Okay.
He may or may not have had enough, but if you're a GSVC, you would say mate by assumption.
Mate by... Nice, I like that.
That's where he can't see it, but he's just like, well, there's mate here, and if I lose, it's because I didn't see it. Okay,
also,
our first e4, e5.
Is it disrespect to force your opponent to play out the mate?
No, I don't think it is. I think you've got to...
Educational value for the viewers as well.
Yeah. But, by the way, I think these positions are terrible.
This is a Bugzilla line. This is a Bugzilla line with pawn at h6.
Okay.
This is dead. This is plus 12 already for white.
Plus 12?
Thank you. Wow.
Really?
Wow, thank you.
This is game over already.
That's what I felt. I hate these positions for black.
Well, no wonder I'm playing so badly these days. I'd take this any day as black.
Now, this is why the finisher, this is why one of the top theoreticians, the finisher, he avoids this particular move order with bishop e7 on move 3. He'll play knight f6, knight c6, e5, and then bishop e7. for this exact reason.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
I just got to acknowledge a few more donations. Sorry, we had Dr. De Soto donated $5 about 7 minutes ago. Says, great show, great team. Thank you all. And Marlon C has donated $10. Greetings from Brexit Island, he says. That's one way of calling your country. So Neil, tell me, what's White's big plan here? Because I'm not seeing it.
To make it simple, checkmate.
Checkmate. Okay. And Stockfish reckons the piece for the pawn is enough.
So why don't we start with knight g5?
Knight g5, yeah.
Right here, right now, and then the
sometimes
problem
you want to draw the king out to h6, and you got knight f7 check ideas.
Right. So I'm thinking. I was thinking knight g5 check, king to f8, let's say, and I was going to play e4 to e5, trying to seek a trade of queens or to drive the knight from f6. That was what I was thinking was White's idea. E6
just go direct to h takes g7 and put the pawn back on h6.
That's enough.
Yeah, I mean, maybe black has a way after e5 to just leave the knight dangling on f6 and defend somehow.
Okay, this is inviting takes on g7. Wow, again, not...
check first and then...
Hard to guess the moves, though, right?
And e5 still coming if necessary.
Yeah. It looks good, pardon me, not just... I mean, it's like e4, e5, powerhouse move, right?
Eventually there'll be a bishop a6 and Jasugi's can survive. It's not over yet.
Really?
But there's also takes on f6.
Oh, knight c5 coming.
Yeah, or queen g4.
Exactly. There's a queen g4 move that I saw and I thought, okay, that's got to do it. Okay, here he's looking after takes to bishop takes and knight.
No queen g4? Well, it's not so good after king e8.
Queen g4, king e8. Okay.
Yeah, I like this. If rook takes g5, you take, bishop takes g5, and then queen h5. You get a pawn or a bishop for f7, and then you win.
Nate.
That's why we call him opperwezen. You mop up all the pieces and then you mate.
Just so what Kleerkast is saying, takes on g5 with a rook, bishop takes, and you've got a rook coming to g8, so that when you go queen h5 check and anything interposes, it's splat.
So therefore bishop takes e6, and now the game continues.
Okay, again, I'm looking for a knockout, Justin.
Yeah, I'm learning on the spot right here because I'm still like, I mean, the whole chat. I've got the chat. I've got players like Katas. I've got GSVC saying this isn't +12, this is +20, and I'm here going, I'll take black. So I'm learning. I'm learning
the
here.
The rook h6 was a blunder. What the heck was? You put the rook
maybe he has knight g7. Knight g7 maybe. I don't know how good it is,
but
he doesn't have any pieces in hand.
But why didn't he put the rook on h8 with check?
Yeah, same idea. Yeah. The bishop on f6 is overloaded.
Only a queen. If black sacks the queen, you need more than just a queen in hand.
Can I just say, guys, I would actually not play this with white myself in a final unless I really knew every single line, because even though theoretically white may be better, I feel practically if you lose your way, it's you're handing it straight to black, and I'm concerned. I think opperwezen is heading in that direction.
Okay, so in this exact position, let's say I go bishop f6, queen f6, bishop b7. Justin, you this is where you kind of get the feeling that white has lost his way.
No, it looked very strong much earlier, and I just feel if white doesn't get checkmate, it will be it will be in black's favor in the end. So like,
okay,
you know, when Stockfish says it's plus 12, it's because Stockfish will find every single mating line, but you may not find that.
right. Now, Neil, you had a great comment the other day when we were in testing mode. I was patting myself on the back, revealing the truth that I was beating Stockfish badly at level 7.
Level 7,
and
yeah.
you were saying that Stockfish has been beaten up by somebody.
Stockfish has been kidnapped. It's had a blindfold put over it, arms and legs tied up.
Right.
It's not the same Stockfish as it used to be.
It's not the same Stockfish. but who was responsible for destroying Stockfish and making him lose its confidence?
Well, I think I saw an announcement on Lee Chest that there was a new improved Stockfish or something like that.
It's not improved, I can tell you that. It sure made me feel better about myself if that was the intention of the improvement. It's turned again. It's now Jasugi who's...
The worst thing about this for me is I'm still going to end up playing this as black because I saw black win.
Until somebody proves
I still haven't figured out, so I'd have to go through it with an engine to be convinced. So
take notes.
Gotta take notes
JannLee if you want.
That's right.
I had some notes preparing for Bugzilla, and I called this the Bugzilla line.
Right.
So he's just crushed everyone he's played with the white pieces.
But see, Bugzilla would go and really find every single move and know it back to front before playing it, and I think that's quite reasonable.
Wow.
Wasn't this also featured in the Bugzilla versus the Finisher?
Okay.
You would know that, I guess. That line.
It's like the Finisher would go into that exact line, but
yeah,
I may be wrong.
Maybe something with the D5 variations.
Oh, knight takes D4. Okay.
Okay.
This
he wants knight takes E5. 2 pawns for knight.
Yeah,
this is
and
very
I think
common in this line of defense.
For some reason, bishop takes D4 is not as good. I don't know. Maybe it's the pawn at E4 would hit. So.
Right, hits the knight on F3.
But Opper hasn't completely. Curled himself up into a ball or anything. He's
oh no, he's throwing the patties as well.
Still throwing punches, and he's level-headed. So, Jasugi's having a fight for every game here.
You think 6 bishop E3 is just an attempt to get a position and
get
Opper out of any specific prep?
Absolutely, I've tried it and it still didn't work. But it's absolutely to avoid anything too theoretical.
Oh, I'm happy when I see the move knight b5. I thought bishop d7 was a waste of move myself, but it's actually you got rid of a very wayward piece on c8. Again, I mean, I'm just castling and I'm putting a pawn on g6, and I'm saying with a super safe king, I can face the future with confidence.
Would anyone take white here?
I have taken white many times, but not by choice. I just found myself in white's position here against opperwezen.
Yeah.
And,
I like black a lot here. I think he's got the initiative, and well, yeah.
The main question to ask yourself here is who do trades benefit, and surely it's got to be black.
Yeah, I think it's
with
black
the pawn
here.
on F3.
So acknowledge another donation into the sky. Donated $20. Says thank you, gentlemen, for spreading the joy of Crazy House. Love the broadcast. So nice.
Good stuff.
Well, thank you for all the support, and just remember that all your donations are going to the players. There's a pool of money. So if you like what you're seeing between these two greats, support them with your donation, and Justin's going to make sure they get the money.
So just to add to that, I mean, I've donated the $2,000 up front this year. If we can meet the target of $2,000, then I will guarantee at least that much next year. So that's where I'd like to see it go. So
wow.
Okay.
Very generous of you.
Well, we got to start somewhere,
Justin.
Yasser. It's
it's one of those things. I mean, Gary Kasparov loses his title, and I don't hear Gary Kasparov saying, "Well, thanks to my predecessor, I'm going to donate millions of dollars to the winner of the next match." It's like, no. Gary never said that. Bobby never said that either.
No, Gary went into politics.
Yes, exactly.
There was a famous president who said, "Ask not what Crazy House can do for you, but what you can do for Crazy House."
Exactly. Did you guys like the pawn to c6? I really despise that move. Like against bishop b5 check, I would have dropped a knight on c6 before I would have put the pawn there, because I would want in this type of position to have the pawn in hand.
Maybe, but in
h2 knight g4 almost works.
You need extra knights.
Queen h2.
Queen takes h2.
Well, nearly does.
Well, the knight on c6 would have dropped itself to e5.
It does work.
You got h5 f6 at the end.
That's a brilliant spot. Queen takes h2. Everybody, knight at g4 check. You can't take the knight because of queen at g2.
Right.
King g3 or king h3. Queen at h2 check. King takes g4. h5 check. King g5. f6 mates. Mugwort, the man.
Nice.
But
very nice.
Opperwezen will probably spot it. I feel that he will. No, he didn't. But these are the ones you've got to nail. You've got to get that queen takes h2 and bag.
Neil, that was a great find. I mean, proving, the blind chickens can still find the corn. That's what Coach Noy. Coach Noy said to me. Nicely done, Yasser. The blind chicken finds the corn. What? Okay, where is the knockout once again? I'm asking. Bishop to e4.
I don't know if it's there now, and this is the thing. It's like you'll walk away from this game with black going, yeah, Jasugi just defended it well, and you might have had just one opening to grab it. And
I think bishop at e4 was good, by the way, because you can play knight at g4 next.
Right.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking as well.
Yeah.
I'd rather be a blind chicken who wins rather than a losing chicken that can see.
Yeah, there's a saying in poker. It's better to be lucky than skillful. And I play it in Crazyhouse too sometimes, actually.
Better to be lucky than skillful. Well, I remember, Justin, that was hilarious. Somehow I convinced chess.com to have a tournament, and you joined it at the very end, a Crazyhouse tournament at the very end, and like you won the event by like making a checkmate with a nanosecond on your clock after you started like 0-2, and I was like commentating and I was saying, "Oh, Justin's great, he's going to win this tournament hands down." You came in at just the end and everybody is like, "What? Who is this guy?" Ooh,
that's a nice move. Bishop at
f3. Okay,
it doesn't quite work. I think you can call the bluff. G takes f3, knight at e2, king h1. If queen takes g3, h takes g3. There's no other pawn available. So I think g takes f3 could have been a bluff call right there.
Okay, now this is no question. We're just sacking on g2, and I assume we're putting a bishop back on the e4 square. Yeah.
f3.
Does he push f3?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to. Otherwise, we just drop in. But now, what?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's
you
a
like
good move.
that.
Yeah, I like that too.
You both like that. What?
Pawn at h3 ideas can now be available, and bishop takes f3.
It's very resourceful.
Okay. I thought that
come in.
Very nice.
But he has to be careful.
The rook would be very useful for black.
So if I take the knight, you take my queen, and I can't mate you. Oh,
he's found it. Yes, nice.
Oh, pretty. Pawn to h2, pawn to e2.
So he's got to drop the queen.
Pawn at e2, and he takes the rook. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then rook at e2, and then the queen comes back to g2.
Exactly.
Now rook at e2, queen g2.
Rook at e2, yeah.
Hey, Opper!
Come on,
Who said Opper couldn't find mate?
He's gotta go queen takes c1 maybe. For the
Still
point.
works
Whoa,
for the
he
crowd,
didn't see
for
it.
the audience.
Yeah.
What? He still hasn't seen it.
No, he's still got mate.
Goodness.
He's still got mate. He's just
Still
done
got
it
mate, yeah.
in opperwezen
Look at
style.
before.
Talk about doing it the hard way. Oh boy. Okay. Do we have a fight on our hands?
Yeah, we got a fight. I mean, the last
9-4.
6 games, 4 of them have gone to opperwezen. So.
And we've got the bug.
We got a repeat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it means that Opper's confident that it's plus 12.
Yep.
I just go bishop takes h6 and ask black how are you going to defend.
I still like this for black, so I probably shouldn't commentate this game.
Your bias is showing.
Well, I had the idea if the players ever switch to d4, d5, then I would just be the one calling the score instead of doing the commentary.
Okay.
Not my specialty, d4, d5.
Knight
He's
at
tossed
e5.
in knight e5 check first.
So king g7.
Whoa.
What?
He's really inviting bishop h6. Well,
Yeah,
f7.
f7's better, otherwise.
Yeah.
Give black a chance to block with pawn at f7.
This looks like a beginner game somehow. This is
A
how
beginner
That's how you learn Crazyhouse. Yeah.
e4, e5, you second f7, you go pawns on the king side, and you make your
And you win. Exactly.
This is how Jasugi plays Bughouse from the white side. Just go for it. You would spend like 0.1 seconds on every move, and he'd ask for pieces. And it's when you're up on time.
The GSVC in the chat
You're going to win
says-
every game.
GSVC in the chat says, I got this in bug many times and I spam no knight.
Nice.
and Lone Wolf will probably sacrifice a knight at this very moment. And
As your partner.
GSVC will, as his partner, yeah.
Nice. How is black supposed to defend this, Justin? You've kind of indicated that you have a bias for black's position.
I would have
I'm sitting
played
here
king
looking
g7 earlier though instead of king e8, and it's probably still worse. But
ooh,
here,
photobomb. We're being
there's-
photobombed.
yeah, we are.
Hi.
We've got a 5th commentator here. Hello.
Yeah.
She's just been in the background. She's woken up. This is
Ah,
Bella.
Now suddenly Bella's shy. What?
Correct. She's camera shy, and I said, "Come on
No
here." She used to
way.
Hey, there's
Jump
that bishop
up on-
b4 check again. I was going to say if queen takes d7, there's that bishop b4 check move again.
To escape, vacate a square with the tempo. Knight c6, guys. Do we like this move?
Yeah, this
Was
is
that necessary?
This is crushing. Yeah. I
It
think
covers
this is-
against bishop b4 check. That's for what. But yeah, this is game over, right?
The problem is,
Pawn at g6 and pawn at g7 and promote to knight when you take the rook.
Well, I'm just saying, let's just say d takes e6, queen takes d8, bishop takes d8, queen at g7, king e7, f8, queen double check, and mate to follow soon, you would expect.
Yeah.
So
Upper style f8 equals bishop. Double check.
f8 equals bishop, yes. Yeah. And hope it doesn't lose on exit.
Okay, so here again, I'm playing knight c3. I don't want to give away the pawn in hand by blocking the check with a pawn. But knight c3 is automatic there, right? We all agree on that one.
Yeah, the problem is any kind of defensive attempt from black still leaves a knight hanging on f6, even if you get away, and then white will continue to have initiative. So here, like say rook takes, queen at g7, well, we can just take the knight here on f6. But I mean, Jasugi is doing admirably not to be dead on the spot right here.
But okay, so that's interesting because that was a kind of a situation where I'm very reluctant to take the knight on f6. I really like playing queen to g7 and being a bully there when the bishop was still on e7.
Okay.
I feel I'm going to just take a lot of black pieces in that whole setup. This is very impressive. I like this for white. I think he's rescued it somewhat with that f7 move. This looks crushing once more.
Yeah, so material balance here, white's pretty much a cold queen up.
Exactly. Bishop to g7 would likely be my move right here. Yeah,
oh,
he's
yeah.
done that. These guys are good. I didn't.
And that is a Yasser comment, everyone. That's beautiful. Just a one-liner. These guys are good.
You got to get in your cheapos.
Yeah, no, beautiful, beautiful.
When you got a chance. Oh my goodness! Talk about finding difficult moves. Who saw knight g8? Did any one of us see knight g8? Not me. That was what a move. Wow.
Well, there's possibly a few commentators looking for the next game, but he's nearly got mate. He's close.
I thought he was going to go knight e5. I didn't.
You've got to be careful here. Jasugi can get away when you play moves like queen at d8 and you don't wrap up.
He's played it.
Bishop f5. Yeah. You got queen g4 coming if king takes knight.
Yeah.
I have missed queen to g4. Whoa, queen d2 instantly played.
Yeah, rook takes d8, knight e6 check, covers off g7, and then you'll have mate on g5.
Okay, but and the follow-up now is queen f8 and rook f7, or what's his follow-up?
Knight e6 and queen g5 and queen takes f6. Okay, this is also fine, I guess.
Pawn to h6 check is his idea, perhaps?
Yeah, he's
queen g5 still.
Queen g5. Wow.
Yeah.
Now that's a nice move.
Which queen are you using?
Either queen.
Either queen.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Either queen is actually good enough. Oh, and he's nice. Okay, now the mate is bishop g6.
Queen g6, knight d5. Oh no, that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. Knight. Bishop g6. Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
Stop the king reaching e8.
Go the king. Move the king.
So pawn to f7, yes. Now we have it. Knight to h6 or knight to h8.
Rook at d8 to
finish.
Beautiful.
Woo!
Okay.
Woo! Okay, the match is on suddenly.
9-5. I mean, we started 7-0, so you know. 7-0. Mugwort was right. We had to wait for Opper to warm up. But,
I was going to say before that you can't say move the d queen because they're both on the d file, so it was
good to move. Yeah, queen 8 or queen 2. Yes.
And this is going to be interesting because Jasugi probably doesn't go back to the same line next game.
Yeah, but I think opperwezen will come in warm and hot, you know, ready to go, a bit more match fit. Second set.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I mean next black game for.
Right, yeah, sure. Yeah, you're talking within series, sorry.
But even next series, it's going to be interesting as well how they try to develop, of course, their openings.
Yeah, well, thankfully it's not 14-0.
Second series d4. Yeah, exactly.
Yasser is still frowning at this bishop d7 move.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. But hey, I mean, it's actually, I still think black's got a very decent position, after all of that.
Well, perhaps it's the same idea as Jasugi's 1a6, just to stop any bishop b5 checks.
Help our audiences and me out. How important is opening theory in Crazyhouse? I mean, in classical chess, it's extraordinarily important. Theoretical preparation can decide a match.
I'll give a good example. I played one game against the finisher yesterday in the Shield, the Crazyhouse Shield. And as black, I got him pretty much out of book in about 3 moves by playing the Elephant Gambit. And then I missed a mate in 2, so... It's not that important.
Yeah,
if you want to get your opponent out of book, you can do it easily.
It's general moves, or general ideas that are much more important, I think. Because of the droppings, it's also the opening trees are much larger than in classical, I'd say.
And aside from that, look, guys, we're looking at a World Championship final here where we've seen a player be up 2 minor pieces or a whole queen, and we're still thinking there's fight in the game. So the strength of the players in this day and age still haven't figured everything out. I mean, in chess, you don't even have to be a pawn up; you can be 1 square up, positionally, or at half a tempo. It feels, and that's enough. Whereas here, there's big material advantages. So aside from the opening, we just need to figure out our technique first on how to win a few pieces up.
Except a moment ago, you were saying, "Oh, this is Bugzilla's pet line, and he's plus 12 when you go into it." So some games you do win.
Correct.
Out of the opening.
I mean, it is important to know what to avoid.
Yes, I think it's more to know what to avoid, not so much, what to win with, because, like Mugwort has said, a player can quite easily avoid what you know. So, I got to admit that's half my strategy already now. It's how do I at least come out of the opening, not dead on arrival into the middle game. And then there's a good game after that. So bishop h6. Let's have a look at this now. Knight at f6 stops. Rook g8. Or can you play rook g8, king e7 here? What do you think, guys?
I'm for rook g8 myself, but I'm just wondering, how terrible is it if I castle long?
Like maybe just drop a rook, and then what? You play king b8.
Yeah, I was gonna.
There's an open c file ready to go.
B8. That's what I'm afraid of, right? I get a knight on c3. So castles takes on c3. You can check me on a8. I'm dropping a knight.
And what about queen takes h6? He does it. Yeah, bishop g5 next, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, I like this. Queen takes h6.
I'm not sure I'm a big fan, because knight takes d5 as a tempo. The knight on c3.
Yes.
Yes. I thought was my choice.
King d8 is probably okay, because if there's queen at h8, you've got bishop at f8 to block, and you've got cover on the back.
I agree. That's important cover.
But I still feel like white's just a bit ahead if you ask who has the initiative here.
Right.
Important Zwischenzug to play knight at f6 check to stop bishop at g5 with tempo.
Yes. Yeah.
I think so.
That's a critical move.
Good. Yeah. Whoa. Knight back. He was afraid of something along the G file.
Yeah, bishop e4 ideas. Yeah, bishop e4 looked really nice.
He snapped rook takes c7 though. What's he saying?
King takes c7.
He thought maybe bishop takes c7, queen at f8, and now he wants d7, knight f6.
Yeah, I feel like rook takes c7 is a bit like Jasugi saying, nope, I'm attacking. That rook has only sacrificial value on c1. I'm not losing it for a pawn on b2. I'm gonna make it dent.
Bishop a5. Sorry, I just I self-corrected. Knight c3 double question mark would have been met by bishop a5 check, or even queen a5 check and taking the knight. So
okay, Jasugi's all in here. He's saying I'm attacking and doing nothing but attacking. He could be right.
Sometimes I just hate those crazy house players who don't back down. Leave me alone.
Yeah, it's like, it's not your turn to attack.
Your queen's on pre. Aren't you going to save it?
Exactly. So stop attacking me.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I feel queen e7 check might do the business. Yeah. Bishop check. Yeah. This looks like the business.
And rook
e5.
Yeah.
G7 is going to come. Yeah.
Smash. Jasugi just went bughouse mode there and said, "I'm just going in. Rook takes c7."
That was he got swept aside. I didn't think after knight h6 to g4, black's position was that bad.
No, it wasn't. I don't think he should have.
On c7.
Yeah, I think he probably had to respect what was coming a bit more. Okay.
Yeah, take on c3 is okay, but taking on b2 is too much.
Yeah, like maybe putting against knight g5, maybe putting a knight on f4, so you could put a pawn on e2 and or knight on e2 with check. So you could put a pawn on f3. I think pawn takes b2 may have been.
Guys, I have a feeling Jasugi's in the same boat as me. He may not know this is plus 12, and he's going, right. Well, I've won a game already, so...
What's a guy doing?
Yeah, to be honest, I think he should go back to a6.
Yeah, it was in this position that I like the move
e5.
e5. Ooh.
Okay, Bill, so we're commentating on a World Championship match right now. That's what you're interrupting. But she had no idea. She doesn't know my schedule. So there's more than 350 people watching you at the moment.
I can't
but just letting you know what's about. Okay, sorry guys, go.
Not at all. I got a question for Bella. When is she coming to Holland to visit me? I haven't seen her in a long time.
Right, so Yasser has a question. This is Yasser here. He says, when are you coming to Holland to visit? Holland is on the other side of the world. What's your answer to that? You don't have an answer. She's probably thinking, COVID.
No, it's
that's the
really
answer to
nice
everything
place.
These days. All the kids.
It's a really nice place. And we got great cheese, Bella. Do you like cheese?
Do you like cheese? She said they've got great cheese in Holland.
Great cheese.
Yeah, she's like Dad. She's like Dad. She likes cheese. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll eat cheese in Holland one day when we have vaccines and no more COVID, and it's not the excuse for everything. That's what I heard a father say to his child. I was like, can we do this? Like, no, we can't do that. Why can't we do that? Because of COVID. That's the reason for everything these days. Like, oh, okay.
Okay, thanks, Dad. You're really
good. Great.
What's going on in this game, guys? Bishop e6 or bishop?
I think Black's got away. King g8. King g8. Just tuck away in h8.
G8. Tuck away.
Then I'm gonna play Queen h5.
Yeah, so King g8, Queen h5. Knight at h6?
Yeah, knight at f6, you may have Queen f7.
Knight at h6. Knight at h6.
Knight at h6, okay.
Good one. I like it, Kleerkast. I like that very much. So we're looking at King...
Knight at h6. King g8, yeah, it must be the move, probably.
Yes, King g8.
To move to 8, yeah.
To run away, to get out of dodge. And against Queen on d1 coming to h5, we're blocking the f7 square with knight h6, which I find personally very clever. I like that a lot.
And then I'm gonna play bishop at f6, maybe.
Bishop at f6.
I'm trying to make this work. You have to watch out for rook takes e3 ideas at all time, but
knight at f8. Okay. So here I like Queen h5 still.
Any takers for bishop b3
but
check
I guess
or
that's
something? No,
pawn at
c5,
g6
d5,
is...
sorry.
Yeah, as soon as you let the pawn push to d5, the rook gets another defensive job.
Okay, I think his idea is if we put a pawn on g6, we take with the pawn on f5, and we follow it up with taking on g6, right? And putting another pawn on f5. So any change of minor pieces is in the attacker's favor.
Yes.
So once you get a knight, the g5 is vacant.
Big trouble. Is it time to run? He did run.
Wow, instantly f6. Oh. He was looking for that one. That's an opperwezen move and a half.
Any
bishop
takers
takes
for bishop a5?
Bishop takes f6.
Anything?
Can we just defend this?
Then yes, there's knight c3 to block.
Yes, thank you. Hey, somebody's paying attention. Neil, making me feel like I'm actually saying something intelligent. Queen.
It's got to be Queen takes g7.
Queen g7 is asking too much, guys.
I think
Queen g7.
I think Black's getting away here.
Queen a5 check. if he goes bishop to g5, there's a queen a5 check.
Yeah, no, I was thinking queen g4 check first to avoid that.
Okay.
But
and
here,
in fact, I like that.
It's not
Here,
enough.
queen g4 again. I liked.
I did.
Black's out of dodge here.
Is he? No, I can't believe he's out of dodge. I think he's.
He's not getting mated.
Exposed, right?
He's not getting mated.
I think he had to go for something like queen g4, blocker at g6, and then bishop at h6 to put a white bishop on
Black is totally
f6.
safe. He's just going to build a fortress around his king.
Yeah.
No, but rook g3 was a total wasted move. Okay, instead of rook g3, imagine I played h2, h4 with the intention of playing bishop to g5.
Yeah, and I think rook and g3 is an admission that white's not going to smash through, and he's getting ready to castle and have his own fortress ready to go for another 20 moves.
I think that's precisely right. That's what Oprah was playing for, was a safe king himself.
Yes, that's right.
Bishop at g5 draw? Okay, no. Jasugi doesn't want to draw.
Just asking, just checking, that's all.
Just checking, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it time to castle? And now knight e4 suddenly becomes interesting. Bishop d6 becomes interesting, guys. I don't like this move, e6 by black.
Yeah, queen at b4 to make the knight go back if you really want to.
Ooh, yeah. Queen at b4 I liked.
Yes. I think knight e4 was mistimed. Let's assume he castled and then did it in the proper way.
Jasugi's just on Great Wall of China mode. That's
okay, but let's bite our way through it. Bishop takes d6. Let's give me the pawn. And if you take with the pawn, I'll play knight takes e2.
I was thinking to myself, what would be the upper move in this position, and probably queen h5 ideas.
Yeah.
Won't work.
Ooh, look at this move. Oh my goodness, that was a great move. f5. I thought he was going to go knight d6, queen d6, and allow knight e2 check. He didn't. He did f5.
So this game has hung in the balance for a long time now.
Truly.
It's not critical yet for either player. Oh, Jasugi's like, I fought so bloody hard to get here. I do not want to draw. So bishop takes e4. Can you not do that, please, Bella? Hang on.
I like those.
This is what we were talking about before, right? The bishop's ability to do other things than just trade for pawns.
Yeah, bishop takes e4 and come back.
What a move. d7 with the idea rook d8, knight d6, or he's done it.
D8 queen. He's opperwezening him.
It's just like threading a needle.
Yeah, that is threatening a needle.
Rook g6, rook g6.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, rook takes g6.
Rook g6 was on tap. That was an easy move for him to find.
Look at these three knights defending all the light squares. 3 knights.
It's not. It's usually not the knight. That's the piece to defend with.
Okay, Upper has come up with some great moves.
And he's found some fantastic resources.
98.
98 is good.
Oh, bishop takes d5.
Love it.
Can we really crack it open? Here he goes.
Yes. He wants pawn f7.
This would be huge for confidence if he can win, because he's basically won from I nearly call a standing stop kind of starting position where he's had to grind from from the beginning.
He has.
This should only help.
If you hit the microphone,
like it helps.
It's a noise, and if you
Queen
do
takes
that,
e6
the light is bad.
And f7.
Yeah,
he's got it. 95. No.
It feels like game.
It does, but is it? We've got
promotes. Knight f7
check. Oh, promote. You think? Okay.
Yeah, and then to vacate the knight f7 idea.
Gotcha. Whoa.
Because then f6 is weak as well.
Yes.
An excessively good defensive move, bishop h3, just to stop any counters.
I'm so impressed by opperwezen's play this game. Like, he really did thread a needle.
Level.
Resourcefulness is incredible.
Yeah, the resourcefulness is.
You still got to put him away.
He's putting him away. Like, I don't see Jasugi coming back from this one.
Yeah, maybe some rook g8 ideas now, but he's gonna be. He's staying safe. I like that decision.
Oh, Bishop G1 was a genius
That's
move.
a practical decision. It's a different.
It's so good.
I knew Yasser would
Difference
like Bishop
between
at
him and
G1.
the.
I loved it. I mean, really impressive.
Black Resign,
Resign.
amazing match. That's worthy of the final, guys. That was some class needle weaving from opperwezen.
71 move game. It was almost the longest game of the series.
71. Ooh. That's not the longest. We had 73 or something.
I think so. Yeah.
And it's because they make the professional choice to get a shuffle 2 times and then not the 3rd time. Get 4 seconds on the clock and go on.
Yeah,
it's got everything.
Snooker, they applaud it when you hit a century. In Z House, your commentators are like carried out by a stretcher. No more. Hey.
Well, we had
a moment ago H5.
I think my longest game against opperwezen has been 98 moves. I think. It's a 98 or a 96, somewhere there, and it felt like we had like 4 or 5 different games go in once, and it wasn't a deliberate, trying to shuffle things around.
Yeah, I like Rook E1. It's kind of highlighting the problem with H5 that you go pawn at G6 at a certain moment. So opperwezen plays nice pawn at E5, closing the file again. And just
I don't know whether you remember Kleerkast, but Jasugi had a game with the finisher in the Crazyhouse Team League, and he played about 40 moves without doing a single trade. So it was just a chess game for the first 40 moves.
Nice. By the way, guys, the move Rook E1, we teased Vladimir Kramnik mercilessly because it was like when Vladimir didn't know what to do in a position, he just played Rook E1. It was just the rook is always good on E1. I mean, I don't know why, but it's a good move. Rook E1. And I thought that was pretty nice. But in this particular case, it really was a good square for the rook on E1. Now, great. We've induced the move Bishop Knight B5. I'm thinking Bishop on D7 to C6.
Yeah, so I feel black's safe here, but white's got the maneuverability options at the moment. Okay. That's the issue. So
I'm not a big fan of D4, but it could still work out. But I like Bishop to C6 with the idea if you took on the Bishop, I would take with the Queen. Well,
Bishop C6 still could be the intention.
Yes,
yeah, probably.
Most certainly. I'm thinking Knight E4.
There we go, opening the E file.
Right. But now, this is the point where we need a pawn so we can go H2 and somehow, as if by magic, it all works out beautifully. Bishop to F4? Bishop on... No, he didn't do it.
What do you call a half-opened file when your opponent's got 2 pawns on that file?
That's one for Yasser, I think.
Right, yeah. Okay, I didn't like some of these trades that Opera is making here, but it hasn't gone terribly wrong yet, but it's disconcerting. He's losing... I think black is losing the thread a little bit here.
No, I think this is basically the position he was aiming for. About 5 or 6 moves
black
ago.
is.
So materialistically, black, we're actually even, and black's doing okay.
What would you have done after Bishop G5 instead of Bishop G4?
Bishop G5.
Maybe.
Sack the queen. Bishop takes E.
Sack the queen. Yeah, I was thinking about it as well.
But I take the queen. I'm threatening mate on E7.
No, if I go there's a knight on G5 then, not a bishop.
Oh, you take on you take the queen.
I take on G5. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were taking with the knight on E4. I would. Okay. No. Sorry, I misunderstood.
You go queen takes G5 and knight and bishop takes G2. I think.
Yeah.
So you want.
Okay.
And knight at F3 ideas.
Yeah, so when you ask that question, I kind of see 3 light bulbs on the other commentators, and they all just go, sack! And then they're like, okay, what do I sack? That's the thought process that just happened in front of me.
Well, Bobby had this great line about the dragon. You go H4 H5 sack sack mate. Right?
Yes.
So you guys saw sack sack.
Yeah, it's like this instinctive
Sack
thing.
made by assumption.
That's right.
Right.
Sack made by assumption.
Oh yeah, okay. I like this. There's ideas of knight takes g4 as well now, and queen takes g5 and knight at f3.
I'm not sure I'm a fan.
Yeah, knight takes g4.
Knight takes g4.
Queen takes
yeah.
g4.
I think queen takes g4 by assumption, right?
Yeah, then queen takes g5.
And
knight at f3
f3. Yeah.
Yep, and the king's safe enough, I think, at the back. Like pawn at d7, king e7 will be okay when all the captures are done.
Yeah, knight at c7, also king e7, I think.
Right. Okay, fair enough. So
yeah, we can say it. He has to
queen
calculate
g5.
it. That's the hard stuff.
Yeah, there's no consequences for us.
Yes.
Is there
We
any
just say,
difference
oh,
in
well.
playing knight at f3 check first to try and entice g takes f3?
Possibly. It's as long as another knight in hand isn't doing anything critical on our back rank. As
Well,
black.
the problem yeah, exactly. Yeah, the problem that I'm having is, let's say we play knight f3 check now and king over, and you take the bishop. Don't I have issues as black with knight c7 check? He's done
Pawn at
something
d7 first to stop king e7. Wow.
Aha.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Nice. I like this move very much.
Ooh, that's critical.
Ooh.
Kindis Pawns
And now
donated $3. Thanks for all you're
Rook
doing.
c8 check.
Very nice move order from Jasugi. This is
Very nice.
this
Really
makes
good
all the
stuff.
difference. But now there's a rook in hand. No,
Yeah,
rook at
the rook in
h2 is
hand.
on a threat.
Yeah.
But
Ooh,
Must
has
be
he
doing
move ordered
something-
himself?
no,
Put it
we do
himself.
have knight. We've
Knight
got knight
d7.
d7 check.
Yeah, but knight d7, king g8. The idea was to play queen takes g5 at the end of this, but now a knight at f3 is.
E8 even, yeah, because of rook at f8, I think.
Oh, we don't have another. Okay,
If king
we could
g8,
put
there
our
was
pawn
some
on
rook
c7.
f8.
Does knight
it-
f6 work? What about knight f6?
Is that a
here?
fake queen? Should you take the
And-
bishop here? Queen takes d8.
No, I think knight f6.
It's
Is,
No, I think knight f6.
knight f6, is that not mating?
Isn't
close.
that crazy? I think it is. I think it's mating. Knight f6.
Knight f6, queen takes
do you
f6,
think?
pawn at d7, king e7, rook at e8. Hang on, I'll
Rook
move some
e8.
arrows.
And
Okay,
then
but
bishop
go-
Pawn
to
at d7, king e7.
So
rook
pawn-
at-
pawn
yeah, he's
takes-
playing it.
Yeah, true.
Pawn takes this necessary then.
Pawn at
Okay,
d7.
he doesn't.
is
Yeah, pawn at
mating.
d7 is mating.
Yeah,
It
he's
looks
found it.
mating.
Jasugi
Wow.
just
Found it.
pulled mate out of.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Incredible.
Wow.
well done.
Yeah,
Well
pawn
done.
at d7, world class move.
Yeah, the move
Wow.
order there. That was
was-
something.
I'm inspired, guys.
Hats off to Jasugi. World class.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah.
We've seen some great Crazy House today. This is it's really
best.
lived up to the hype. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's wonderful
And
to see.
is
I was saying to the guys, it's actually nice to not have to play one of the finals for a change and be able to just
just sit
enjoy
back and
watching
enjoy
it
it,
and
yeah.
have company like this to just enjoy with. It's fantastic.
Right. And
Is this
again,
an
for those who
improvement?
We saw this line already. So knight at
Did he go
g5.
Knight
h
at
takes
g5
g7 first? Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, something to be said for knight d4 check and knight takes c6 ideas.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
the
we're
knight can
getting
also
some
jump
material.
back to and knight e5, maybe back then even.
Exactly.
Some lines.
He played. I think
By
he
the
played
way-
e5 last time.
Yeah, e5 seems necessary because you don't have enough pieces otherwise.
Correct. You need e5.
Clear. Yeah.
But I don't know the theoretical lines here, but instinctively e5.
I think the
looks right.
theoretical line is, like I was saying before, just go knight at g5 check. Like that was the first move that came to our heads when we
Right.
first saw the position about 4 games ago.
Now here we had something last time with I believe a knight was coming to. No, we went pawn to f5 and knight came to f5. I believe.
Your pawn at
It was
e6.
e6 check
Yeah.
and king and then knight to f5, inviting rook g5, bishop g5, and white was winning that game until
Then he went
thing
rook at
happened.
h6.
Yeah. Bad things happened after, but white was doing really good.
And white has a big choice if black is going to end up sacking the queen, how to do it in the most optimal way. Are you looking at all the rook at g8, rook at h8, and so on?
Right.
With the white bishop on g5.
A previous game, we've seen knight f5 in this position.
Is there anything else? I mean, knight at
maybe
f5.
queen h5. I'm looking at queen
Bishop
h5.
g6.
Yeah, and then sack the queen on g6. I don't know if it works, but
I don't think it works.
probably not. But maybe
Knight
it was something.
So
that's
the
probably what's going on in his mind right now, and it's taking him a minute
could
to
be.
think
It
about.
could be. I would not put it past him for queen h5 to be going through his mind. That's for sure.
Knight h5. This feels good.
Rook takes g5. What's the critical point? Is there a capture on f6 at some point? Still bishop takes g5.
No, with the idea of rook to g8 check after recapture. It looks terrible for black, but what do I know?
I mean, yeah, white's only...
Wow.
Pawn at g6, okay.
Bella.
So the queen f3 could be a move here, but I guess just something for the viewers.
Whoa! I mean,
bishop at b4 checking.
I was about to say I loved your move queen f3 because
holy smokes, does that work?
It looks good.
I was going to say to the viewers that black is trying here to not trade a thing if possible, because material in white's hand hurts, and Opper's just forcing the issue. Queen takes d6. So let's have a look at this. Let's say queen takes d6, pawn at f7, king e7, rook at e8 check, king f6, knight takes h7 check. Looks like there's a lot of open space to run in to the queen side.
I prefer
promotes is the move.
94 check, pick up the queen.
Yeah, 94 as well. But
94, pick up the queen is good enough.
Yes.
Pawn at f7.
Pawn at f7. Rook on e8, king to f6, as you said, Justin. Knight to e4 check, and then knight takes d6.
Yeah, he's basically saying, your king's on e5 and mine's on e1, so I should be winning.
That's good for me. Unless he has queen e2.
No. Yeah, queen e2.
Or knight f3, knight g2.
There's no mate on the card.
Queen e2.
So it's how to defend here. But is queen at e7? No, bishop f... I think he's found mate already. Queen at e7, knight c3, queen... Bishop e3, yeah, beautiful. So pawn at e5, queen at e7 check, king d5, knight c3,
bishop e3,
king d4, queen b4 check, blocker at c4, bishop e3 mate.
He's gonna go.
You have to play
he's gonna go
first.
He's gonna go long e5. Castle then in your line, Justin.
Oh.
Not bishop e3, but long castle for the points.
Yes, for the points.
For the points. Style. Style is important.
You don't resign? Well, I'll get 3 more moves out of you then.
Nice.
No, okay, so Jasugi's making a run for b7. He's trying to get his king back to safety.
Queen
so queen at a5 cuts it off.
Threatening a b4 check.
But it's not over yet.
B4 check. It's not over.
I mean, here I would look for something where white is safe and black can't do anything about it.
I like knight d2. Solid. Knight d2 just...
Knight d2, yeah. Stops all the checks.
I actually
stops all the checks.
I was thinking f8 queen. Because that bishop on g7 is a defender and an attacker.
It's wonderful.
And it's good just to have another bishop in hand, take f8, and there's nothing. But knight d2 is also fine.
Mm-hmm. But I like what you were saying. That bishop on g7 is a great defender, and if you had a bishop, you would be putting it on b4 or check and all kinds of places. So f8, in hindsight, would have probably been my preference as well.
What if Jasugi blocked with a bishop on b5 instead of a knight? Because it came with a mate threat on e2. Was he worried about queen a3 or something in some cases?
Hard
Good
to say.
point, Neil. I have yes, exactly.
A6
Good
is a very
point.
safe square now for the king. See, it was different
I don't
if
like it.
it was different if white
I
had
don't like
that bishop in hand.
A3 is a terrible move. A3 is a terrible move because it's likely that black wants to play king A5 in almost every case, right? So
Yeah.
go queen, go F8 queen with the king on B4 still. A3 just helped black's cause. Sorry.
Okay, but Jasugi still has to prove a win here. It's probably
Right.
in black's favor, but
I think it was time to play A4, right? A3, A4 to make sure that A6 is not a safe.
Or maybe
haven.
bishop takes C7.
bishop takes C7. Yeah, could be a
was on
move.
the line to
Oh,
give
thank
the
you for
bishop
that.
on
Bishop
D3.
takes C7. Hi,
More
love.
scope.
Okay. See you later. That was just
A4.
Yvette. Yvette was not like
F2
Bella.
mating.
Didn't give us a photo bomb, but ooh.
Bishop D2 critical to stop losing a bishop with check. You can take that. The knight's defending it. Oh wow. Time trouble.
safe.
Now that bishop on G7 is doing something. I think white's safe
No
here.
no useful blocker. That's nice.
So, okay, time to what? King that
He's
what?
not safe. That didn't last
No,
long.
he's not.
Okay, A2. Nice.
Oh no, he needed
There's
to
knight at
take
C3 check.
Oh
No,
no, we're lost. Oh, it's over.
Wow,
On
Jasugi.
D2.
Good.
Oh, that was disaster.
Good clutch skills at the end.
Oh, that was a disaster. He stole another one.
But that's the thing, like, if you assume your king's on E5 and mine's on E1, that's good enough. Sometimes it's not good enough at this level. You actually really have to get to mate. Wow, so 12-6.
We're seeing what it takes to be a champion.
Yeah, you really are. It's amazing. Everything. The middle game, but also all your clutch skills. Everything comes into play here. The Jasugi back to a comfortable lead, 12-6. I mean, opperwezen took 6 out of 9 games in one streak there after a slow start.
I'm not sure about this move E5. It invites bishop F4 by white. Yeah, don't like this move E5. I liked what he did previously, which was put his bishop on D6 and his pawns on F6 and created this incredible fortress for his king. And as we've been seeing, held out for 70 moves. Oh my.
It's not a much strategy. I mean, if you're afraid of the opening, a strategy is, well, the longer the game goes, the better my chances.
Right.
So if you just set yourself up that way, it's not bad. So bishop E7 here or bishop D6? What do we like?
Bishop
I'm a
E7.
I'm a big fan of bishop.
Maybe.
Knight at H6.
Knight? Not what?
That's definitely thinking like opperwezen. Yeah.
Prevent castling.
Prevent castling in style. Yeah.
Whoa! Queen E5.
Oh come on, that's definitely a JannLee queen sacrifice. I'm claiming that one.
Wow. What to
Only
say
a queen
to
in
that?
hand, nothing to do.
Wow. Knight to E6. Okay, well, I can see a lot of sacrifice. The material count is going to go back and forth in large doses for this game. For those of you who had missed Justin was saying that with Spencer, his 1-year-old, that when he holds Spencer, he's playing the Spencer Gambit because Spencer is interfering with him moving the mouse. And I said, well, wait until Spencer develops teeth. Then it'll be the Spencer sacrifice. He starts biting Daddy's hand.
Yeah. It's got plenty of teeth already.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Sharpen him up. Guys, this is amazing, but it's worked out splendidly for white. This queen sacrifice, I don't know why or how,
Yeah, it's not a knockout blow yet either. I mean, knight at g5 secures both kings.
I think this is kind of knockout. Why didn't he put his pawn on f7? Okay.
I think black is really missing pawns in hand to defend with. Two white pawns in hand are going to be very useful.
Knight at g5 looks, just screams like...
Yeah.
Right, Kleerkast, it's like a light just pops up on g5 and says, put a knight here.
I was thinking it already for 5-6 move or something. You have to play that. Defends everything around your king.
It defends and it's your attack potential, it's everything.
Yeah,
so.
Yasser was pointing out before those moves that are multi-purpose in attack and defense.
Correct. Knight at g5 is one of those.
Was really top notch, no question. I appreciate that move a lot. I really thought that white was going to get a pawn on f7 when he had a bishop on e6, and he would be threatening rook to g8, and that would force bishop f7, and then that bishop that was defending on g6 was eliminated, and you could have put another pawn on e6, and away you go. Infestation.
Yeah, but without the knight on h4, you have to be careful for knight at h3 and bishop at f3 stuff. So I think that's why he played the knight on h4.
Okay, bishop to e4. That move for me, I really don't like, because I think of the knight on c3 as being a passive piece. So somehow this trade...
Oh, bishop at f1, he's admitting he's got to defend. I think this is swung in opperwezen's favor, just strategically. This is his kind of position now.
We've been seeing so much back and forth.
Getting rid of the most forward piece, which is the knight on h4. Now Jasugi doesn't have anything beyond his third rank.
Okay, so what happens after another knight to h4 for white?
Bishop e4, I think.
The problem is you're covering h3,
G2.
or just knight at h4, pawn at g2, because h3 is difficult to cover when it gets captured by the knight. Then it's, and this is what we're talking about, Yasser. You want to defend with bishops because the bishop covers h3. If you had another bishop on h3, you'd be rock solid. So pawn at g2 here.
Tried something of the same thing, but
you have to take with the king, possibly.
Yeah. Well then.
No, he's taking with the knight.
He's Kleerkast bishop e4 a moment or two ago.
Yeah, there was some nice pawn at g2 stuff. Queen at h1 sacrifice was coming there.
So f3 to open up the defense of g2 with the rook on d2. Get another defender. Ooh, like bishop at e3. I like it. He's saying, well, you open up the diagonal.
Yeah.
Knight h3 check.
Yeah. Here you just keep playing moves. You just don't get low on time. Just keep playing on moves, because it can't go wrong for black if you don't run out of time.
No. Bishop d5.
Yeah, nice.
Bravo. And the bishop is coming to e4 now. Bishop e4.
Bishop at e4.
Yeah, and on a good moment you play knight at g4 when all the bishops are gone defending.
And white is just running out of space to defend.
Knight at g4 still.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yes, nice move. Beautiful.
It's as if you've watched opperwezen play before, Kleerkast.
By the way, 2 minutes and 13 seconds to 10 seconds after witnessing a game like that. Our audience
dominating performance with the black pieces. If you just joined, you wouldn't believe the scoreline after that game.
Exactly.
Both these guys have brought out a great game in the back half of the set.
It's been a great pleasure. By the way, let me get in that comment. It's been a great pleasure to comment with you all. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
It is our pleasure to have you here. Believe us, Yasser. It's amazing. It really is.
He's been listening. He's played knight at g5 check.
The point
You're gonna have to lower your voice, Neil.
I'm on the beach all alone. No one can hear me.
Knight of 7 is the point. The knight of 7 is the point of just that that why is knight at g5 so good? But people might ask, knight f7 if you take wins the queen, or knight e6 even. Yeah.
So again, we're inviting e4, e5, and we've seen.
Are we going to see one of those queen d6 moves? Queen takes d6. Now bishop at b4 check doesn't quite work so well.
Queen takes d6.
Well, now you can take
Queen
d6.
Takes d6.
Queen takes d6.
Oh, but then he takes on g7. No, then we take on d8 and everything's good. Resigns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Resigns.
No, actually, pawn at g7 is critical. I think pawn at f7 is okay for black because king f8, bishop takes d6 is a resource. You have to play pawn at g7 first. So that's it. It's 12-8. We have reached... It's actually exactly 2.5 hours. That's what we were predicting. Mugwort? So that is the end of the first leg. We are going to play 60 games in total. Jasugi is up 12-8 after running away 7-0 at the start. Opperwezen, came back in a big way. Last 13 games, he won 8-5. So yeah, I mean, there's still plenty to play for. There's still 40 games. We will be back same time on the 28th of December if you're somewhere like in the Netherlands, which would be the 29th if you're somewhere like Australia. But basically, exactly 6 days from now, we'll be starting at exactly the same time. So hope to see you all again then. Guys, are you able to join for the next one? What are your
definitely for me.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll be there.
wild horses couldn't keep me away from you lot.
Every intention. If I don't get stuck somewhere and I'm not able to get back.
Yeah, if a cyclone hits your beach and you lose your internet connection, that might affect you.
You'll be missed.
Got plenty of storable food on the beach.
Okay.
Nice. And again, a big shout out to our audience and to you, Justin, for arranging it all. I mean, thank you for inviting me, and thank you to the audience for all your support. I really hope you enjoyed this match because these guys really brought some great games. I mean, it was a pleasure. And
to the players, because I know you guys will watch, fantastic Crazyhouse. Keep it up. Yeah, play hard, but I did message them at the beginning of this. I said, just most importantly, have fun, enjoy it. It's a really coveted opportunity within our community to be able to play this. So fantastic games. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Neil, Kleerkast.
Great spectacle for everybody. Thanks so much for inviting and joining. It's been a lot of fun as always.
All right, and I will post this to YouTube as well if you missed any of it. So yeah, hope to see you in about 6 days. Thanks, guys. Right. That was
Merry
fantastic.
Christmas, everybody.
Great team.
See you
all right.
in a few days.
Merry Christmas. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye bye.